I don't see the. Oh, there we go.
We're live.
We like to keep it here professional here.
We are live into the backlog.
What
We kept the podcast in the backlog for a little bit, the little YouTube live. So sorry we missed you guys. What has it been? 2 weeks? A week? We missed a week.
We missed.
But
one
whatever.
week.
It was the holidays, so give us a pass.
We weren't going to watch anyway. It's fine.
But to make up for it, we have a pretty long, lengthy episode for manga and anime fans that we're going to dive into the current state of Shonen Jump. So we're going to be talking about all the titles that you can possibly read on the amazing Shonen Jump Viz Media app. That for only $2 a month, you can really price gouge Viz Media with how much.
I don't know how they're not getting.
Read.
I don't know how they get away with it.
Well, they have we'll talk about, but they have the thing where it locks you out after how long is the lock? A day, a week?
It's 100 a day.
A day, okay.
So
which it's a lot.
I've hit that 100 a couple times because I really liked binging a couple series, or there were a couple shorter series like Yu-Gi-Oh. It split into a couple parts. So when I would read multiple chapters, and I was just breezing through a lot of them, I would hit that 100 mark easily, and then I'd be locked out. I'm like, well, I guess I'll go touch some grass. I don't.
I was reading One Piece, and luckily for me, I was also doing other things throughout the days because I'd read usually almost 100 chapters. Be like, that's enough One Piece for today. Yeah. I never noticed I got locked.
And when you love manga, man, you could get rolling on a lot of chapters real fast. I wish that they charged a little more to override that feature. I mean, that'd be free money for them.
You mean there's like a premium or something?
Yeah, like an extra $3 or something. But
yeah, that's done.
Whatever. $2 is enough.
If it was an American company, there'd be 4 tiers or something.
The only thing that hasn't been affected by inflation yet.
And Arizona Iced Tea.
And Arizona Iced Tea. So before we get into all these lovely titles, let's see what we've been digging into the backlog with. So, who wants to start?
I guess I'll go. I was sick last week, as you guys know, so I was just in bed, and I ended up watching Wednesday. It just dropped on Netflix.
Not Tuesday?
No, it's Wednesday. And it actually came out. It came out on Wednesday, so I was like, "Oh, nice."
They had to.
Yeah, I was like, if it came out on Friday, it would have been just a horrible show. But I really like the show. I highly recommend that. I ended up binging the first 2 parts of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Stone Ocean, and amazing. Highly recommend that. Just been playing more Pokemon Scarlet. That's really all I've been doing. How about you, Marty?
A bit of irony to all of that is that in the other room, I currently have at least 2 people who are actually watching Wednesday. But for me, I took a week off on my webtoons, which was a horrific mistake. But we've caught up. Nice. We're caught up on almost all our anime, except for the stuff that we're planning to binge, which is High Dive. And I fell back on Chainsaw Man and Bleach, and I always do this when it's something that's running I've already read. I have such a bad habit of it. So I gotta catch up on those.
A lot of people do that.
Yeah. Other than that, God of War came out. Haven't beat it yet. Made a side quest error. Gonna have to bash my brain against the wall because it challenged me to hard difficulty. So we're gonna come and do that later.
There were some parts in that game where I got lost. I legitimately could not find my way back to a portal.
Do you remember the Dreki?
Yeah, the first one that you come across?
Yeah, I found the 2 Dreki.
Yeah.
It's not a good time for me.
Nope. I played that game on easy for a reason, man.
I did not.
I wanted to get through it. You got to get it out of the backlog somehow.
It made fun of me. It said if I can pick this difficulty now, I can. If I switch, I can't go back, and I took that personally.
Later, we'll get into this when we decide to do an episode on it. Yeah. When the 3 of us have done it, and either I do think the game is worth platinuming. So if you're watching this and you have the Record of God of War Ragnarok, which is a record of Ragnarok. But if you have it, it is very much worth getting the platinum. A lot of the end game content, the post story content, is actually really worth your time. The game doesn't insult you with what you need to accomplish after the credits roll.
Nice.
So it is worth your time to go through all that stuff.
If you're a fan of the series, especially.
And to Marty's credit, in how difficult the game could be on a higher difficulty, I definitely learning even some, like, because the game got hard even for me on easy mode towards the end of the game, because I didn't know how to really fight anything hard. Like, most of the time I was just button mashing. It was like old school God of War for me. And then you get to these higher challenging fights, and you got to learn how to fight. And once you learn how to fight, it's not bad. But that is the benefit of this combat. Is very well made. Once you learn, you will have a good time even on hard mode. But that's enough with that, I suppose. But
what about you, buddy?
For me, I did platinum and beat God of War Ragnarok, and I'll say right now, I personally prefer the 2018 one more. By no means does that make this a bad game. There's just a couple little slow parts that I didn't really care for in this one. But other than that, really, like, the 2018 one just meant so much more to me. I mean, I just had my son, like, he was like going to be a year old around the time. It was a brand new direction for Kratos, and like in mirroring that, it was kind of like I had a brand new direction in my life. So it was kind of just a beautiful moment, because he sat there with me for most of me beating the game, because that's when he used to sit still.
Once upon a time.
Yeah, we'll probably make an episode about God of War. I need to step on the gas on that one myself.
Yeah. On the other side of things, I think since the last time we gathered, I haven't done much else besides read manga. I haven't watched anything. I only have like a couple episodes left of X-Men the Animated Series.
Oh, nice.
So if you guys didn't know, the final season of season 5, I think there were some budget issues or whatever. It's not up to snuff. It's not up to the same quality as the other seasons. Like, the animation looks completely different. The stories that they tell are kind of off the wall.
In a good way?
That's good.
Man.
Oh, no.
Kind of feels fillery, you know? Like,
okay.
It's not bad. Like, I'll watch it, but for it to be the final season, I think it was just leftover story concepts that they wanted to just dish out.
Kind of like Shield Hero Season 2.
Wow.
The jab.
I was gonna say maybe more like
not a jab. It's just a comparison.
More like Teen Titans. Remember the final season of Teen Titans?
Yeah, and that's another one. Another one that did this. If you guys aren't there or haven't watched it yet, but Star Wars: The Clone Wars, the 6th season is actually just a bunch of extra adventures that they didn't air previously.
Oh, okay.
So the 5th season. So people had to wait from the end of the 5th season, to when Disney Plus brought in the 7th season.
I remember
to get the story continued, because there's a cliffhanger at the end of season 5 that doesn't get answered or alluded to until you got season 7.
Oh man, yeah, that's gotta stink for the fans. Well, thankfully it's out now, but
I was set. I finished Clone Wars right around the time season 7 came out, so
okay, you got it right away.
I was good. I was right on time.
Out.
But yeah, X-Men still a classic. I can't wait for them to bring it back, and everyone just somehow complain that the X-Men are woke, even though that was the point.
I was about to.
I'm trying to remember the other stuff. I read manga. I finished Astro Lost in Space. I told you guys about that last time. Platinum End I finished.
Yeah.
The manga art completely trumps the animation in every way.
That's almost always expected, though.
This is it's a significant difference, though. Like, that one could have been a little bit prettier for what the atmosphere that this manga was presenting could have gone a lot better in that anime. As far as the content that was in the show, everything was accurate. Nothing changed. So still the same ending.
The platinum ending.
I don't want nothing to do with it then.
It's kind of interesting though, reading how everyone theorizes how things should go if certain characters get their way.
You get more inner monologues, probably.
You get more out of the dialogue from them when you know the final result of what happens. So that's the one good thing about revisiting it, because I felt like I understood it a bit more. I don't hate the ending as much as I used to. I've kind of made peace with it, and I get what he was going for. I just feel like it was just too on the nose for the theme that he was presenting throughout the entire show. So it kind of just, because the story starts a certain way, and then it loops right back into that point, and it pretty much just, there you go. This is your message. It was pretty obvious, but I had to give you the most dramatic ending possible to shove it in your face.
For real.
On a more positive note, right after that, I read Fire Punch.
I need to read that. I really need to read that. I'm gonna enjoy that so much.
Oh boy, I'd say it's more edgy than Chainsaw Man.
I mean, Fujimoto doesn't miss to begin with.
I'll tell you right now, this man has movie references up the wazoo in this manga. The first chapter alone will make you want to keep going. Right. There are some things you may not like about it, Bowler, and you will. I don't want to say those things outright, but
I could guess what those things could be.
If you can look past those little things, you'll
little things.
you'll get a lot out of the rest of the story. It's not like a forefront of the story, but there's a lot of language, a lot of violence. It's definitely a good thing that it is not available on the app, only on the Viz Media website.
Yeah.
It has explicit content.
If for some reason someone stumbled upon this who works for the Shonen Jump and you're part of the app, a premium service with Fire Punch on it, maybe?
Or putting in your age to prove that you're old enough to read it.
Something simple.
Easy enough to lie, but who cares?
So I finished that, and I highly recommend it. It is. I definitely understand why that one wasn't a hit compared to Chainsaw Man. Yeah. It's definitely more out there. But once you get a feel for his writing through Chainsaw Man and Look Back and the other one shot, Eerie, Goodbye Eerie, and then the other one.
He's got two more. He's got the song one too.
Yeah. So now that I have a feel for his writing style, it screams Fujimoto. Like, it is just it's him. It's pretty much like undeniably him. I wish it was in this universe. I don't even want to give a synopsis or say anything about even the first chapter. I doubt this will ever get an anime. So if you're watching this, please read it, because it is worth your time. Check it out. I even told my coworker about it, and she's not really like that into like reading manga, but I feel like for people that aren't that into manga, if you spoil the first chapter to someone, you're gonna get them interested.
Yeah, definitely.
As long as it's a good one, even if the manga's bad, if the first chapter alone is just good, maybe.
Yeah. So hopefully at some point she said she was gonna go look for it and pick it up. So hopefully I get to hear about her review of that.
I wonder if it's anything like Blue Dragon's manga. I'm pretty sure neither of you have read that, right?
No.
Which one?
Blue Dragon. It's
oh no.
Yeah,
I know about the video.
It's more famous as a video game and anime, but the manga's wild.
Yeah, I've heard the legends. So the last thing that I've been working on, and this is my current thing, is Hell's Paradise, which is getting an anime by MAPPA. If you guys didn't know, this one's regarded as the third in the Dark Trio with Chainsaw Man and Jujutsu Kaisen, which are all animated by the same studio, MAPPA, which is pretty satisfying.
Yeah, I'm excited for the anime.
They do good work.
So Hell's Paradise is a really cool concept, and I'm really digging it. I'm over halfway through. I will say it's a little bit of a slow start. Like, there's interesting stuff, but like the pieces start coming together a little bit more, and then all of a sudden you got the whole. Before you know what, the whole plot is like just tumbling everywhere, and it's a pretty wild ride.
Nice.
Definitely one I can't wait to see animated, because I think a lot of these fights will be done even more justice than in this manga. There's like some manga don't do fights like too perfectly. Like the animes will elevate them, right? But like there's some manga that like you can see that and you're like, oh yeah, that's gonna be. I can't wait till that's animated.
That's true.
So
that's true a lot for Bleach.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, well, especially because.
And we're seeing the fruits of that right now.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be. Naruto's gonna need to be remade in order to compete. But anyways, just getting into what we want to do the next week, because we're just gonna knock that out right now, because we're gonna have a real long conversation about these manga. Bowler, what are you aspiring to remove from the backlog?
Well. I'll definitely finish Stone Ocean to get that off of the backlog. I definitely got to get back into reading some manga like Undead Unluck. But I still got God of War and I got Pokemon Scarlet I'm playing still. So I think right now I'm just going to be focusing on still playing Pokemon and tackling Stone Ocean. And I'll probably get into God of War 2 so we can eventually make that episode about that. But that's pretty much it for right now. I'm still getting over a cold myself, so I'm trying to take it easy. What about you, Marty?
So, God of War will break me, but I will beat it somehow. And then
just lower the difficulty, man.
That cannot be done. That's not an option.
No, there are some fights.
It's the Dreckies that are
I literally was like, Marty's not gonna like this.
Oh god. But so we're gonna struggle through God of War, and we're not gonna finish that before the next episode. But we'll hopefully beat the Dreckies by then. We'll see.
Hopefully you beat it before it gets a PC release.
That would be cool.
That would be good. Yeah.
But God of War aside, I'm thinking about finally getting a High Dive subscription. So if I do, I'll binge to catch up with too many shows actually, which I've already watched.
They're stepping up their game over there. The merger of Funimation and Crunchyroll has opened the gates to them. They're going to be the new Crunchyroll.
Did you see what happened with Kodansha? The announcement. Kodansha is doing a deal with Disney now. So Tokyo Revengers season 2 is going to be on Disney Plus now. And then, but they're saying like a lot of the Kodansha shows, like manga titles, light novels that get anime, will be on Disney now, or Hulu probably for the US. But, so that's another streaming service. Yeah, another streaming service you'll have to get.
I still don't know why Bleach is on Hulu, but other than those, just catch up with whatever I'm behind with for current like animes this season, because I've fallen behind between being sick and just trying to catch up with all the other stuff. And I did not catch up with Witch Watch yet. Referencing the first episode. Yeah, I know, but I mean I mentioned it, so that maybe that too, if I can find the time. All right, I'm pass the baton to you, Fabian. What were you trying to get out of your backlog?
So I'm trying to finish up Hell's Paradise. Two more manga after that. So if I can get these two done after that, then I can finally switch back to my Marvel Ultimate Universe read through, which I didn't have much left, but I just kind of needed a break from it, so that I went back to manga. Gotta have some variety in your life. So after Hell's Paradise, I will be going to We Never Learn, which Bowler has recommended that I just read the manga and then watch the anime later if I have time. So that's where I'm going for there. And then the big one, which is sad about the anime because one of the staff members had passed away, so a lot of the episodes are being delayed. So rest in peace to them because they're working on we're working on quite what in my opinion, a masterpiece of a show so far. So Golden Kamuy is the next manga I would be reading after We Never Learn.
Great show.
After Golden Kamuy,
I keep on wanting to ask like what you guys haven't read, but I'm just gonna wait because we'll get to it.
Yeah, we'll discover what we got. So Golden Kamuy will be the very last one that is like kind of like somewhat was serialized on this app because most of the volumes were being added slowly onto the app.
Yeah.
So that will accomplish the thing that I've been trying to set out for a long time, almost I think over a year now, was to read everything that was ongoing at the time that I started this goal.
Mm-hmm.
That was on the Viz app.
Yep.
Weekly, at least. The 4 that will not meet that criteria, which are monthly releases, are Twin Star Exorcist, Seraph of the End, Blue Exorcist, and World Trigger, which I still will read. It's just those are monthly releases, longer chapters, pretty hefty chapter count.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna grind through those slowly. Maybe like do.
I read one of those.
10 chapters a week or something.
Although I've been letting it build up, I should probably actually catch up. It's got some content now.
That's fair. But after that, show-wise, I want to watch Stone Ocean. The next Marvel show I have to watch, I think, is Iron Man the animated series.
Oh, okay, the newer one.
The one that's like with the Wolverine, like that looks like an anime, or a different one?
No,
it's
old.
Oh, the old one.
Like,
okay,
like 90s, like
I know
the Iron Man that was in the Carnage and Venom episodes for Spider-Man.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
But it has one of the worst theme songs. Some people like this song, but like for me, it's one
Maybe
of the least hyped songs in all of cartoon history. Same thing with the Fantastic Four theme song for the animated series.
Can never beat the Gundam opening from the first Gundam.
But that's iconic.
Gandamu. Do you like how they kind of alluded to that?
You
or
forget
kind of
how long
referenced it in the new Gundam episode?
Yeah. Okay.
It was somewhat. It was similar. I felt the same vibe when she started dancing.
Oh, that's what it was.
It's kind of like the lyrics were a little bit like that.
That's pretty funny.
It was subtle. Like you have to have. I binged that whole show. So like, at one after another, you hear that song so many times. It's
right.
I play it all the time on Spotify.
It's so impressive long.
But yeah, gaming wise, I don't think I have. Like I should continue my Resident Evil playthroughs because I haven't played 0, Code Veronica, or 4, and I wanted to beat those 3 before the remake for 4 came out. And then the other one is there's a remake of Dead Space that's coming out.
Yeah,
I've never played 2 and 3, so I wanted to replay 1 and beat 2 and 3. Not that it would matter. It's just I don't want to play the remake and then go back to the old games because then I'm gonna be like, I'm gonna learn all these new mechanics that they added to the game and how the game got better. I'm gonna wish that it was in the old ones.
Right.
So it's just like that recency bias, you know.
Yeah.
So I think that's really it for me. I can't really think of anything else. If it comes up, I'll just say it at the end of the episode. But
all right,
we spent a good almost 25 minutes on that, so we're going to jump right into what
we are speed.
And you got to throw me in, Bowler.
All right.
Oh, we're tiny.
Ooh.
You might want to throw us to the left.
I live down here now.
We're going to be... Yep.
You did it.
Good job. But yeah, this is like my little like checklist. So like when I'm done with Hell's Paradise, I'll just knock it off the list and then work my way up. World Trigger's at the top because it has the highest chapter count. I was going lowest chapter count all the way to the newest, or to the highest chapter count. So World Trigger was the highest and still is the highest, but it doesn't come out with chapters too often. And I think the anime is pretty close to the source material at the moment. So
that means you're going to be another season forever.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's talk manga. A lot of series. I got 39 that I read.
God.
Not all of these are weekly. Some of them are monthly, and some of them are on hiatus. And some of them are just series that are over that I haven't completed yet. So why don't we start with the newest additions that we've gotten? We'll go backwards, actually. We will start with the newest one that dropped. So neither one of you read it, right?
No.
Nope. So wait, which one is the control body thing?
Ichi goes under control.
I did read this.
Okay. So in my opinion, and this is just going off of one chapter, so it has enough to prove me wrong.
Yeah.
I don't see this going far at all. Not even as a gag manga.
That's the thing, though. It's a gag manga. And gag manga, the Japanese love their gag mangas. So it can go either way.
That's true. And again, this is one chapter, and we'll get into the other series that I'm reading that are gag mangas in the magazine.
I will say I personally didn't super love it. It was okay. It wasn't bad.
I think this one's safe to leave on the back burner.
Gotcha.
So the problem with it is that I feel like the little girl is going to get on a lot of people's nerves. If they even if they decide to read it, or if it got an anime somehow magically, that little girl would just be villainized, even though she's not a villain. So yeah,
it feels like it's trying too hard.
Yeah, a little bit. That I got that vibe, but sometimes anime in general feels like it's trying too hard.
That's true. And again, the first chapter, so I mean, there's room for it to get better.
Yeah. So,
we'll see.
Not much to say about that one. So
I did like the gorilla.
Yes, there was some good laughs. I'll say that, but I don't think it's enough for it to stand. So the next new series that came out recently was Cypher Academy.
That's the one I didn't read.
I haven't read that.
Okay, so this one has potential. Basically, you can see the synopsis there. I'll zoom in if I have to.
I gotta double back to find this one to read it.
It just came out. It still has that new series tag on the app and website. So it'll be easy to jump in there and find. Another little thing to note, there is a new series coming out.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, that coming out. That synopsis was pretty good.
I'll pull it up later if I can, but I just find it interesting that they got 6 relatively new series. Like the one that's like not the newest is the Ghost Girl one that we'll get to. And that one's at 13 chapters right now. So 13 weeks, and within 13 weeks, we've basically gotten 6 new series, and not too many have ended. Only Super Smartphone and Aliens Arena ended.
Well, so both of those though weren't like proper endings.
Yeah, they're getting the read the ending in the graphic novel treatment.
Yeah. And then also we're in a lot of final arcs right now, so they really have to refill their rosters.
Yeah, so we'll get into those manga that are either.
There's some final arcs that could be a lot longer than others.
That's true. We'll get to which ones are either kicking it to the curb soon, or just getting their proper ending.
Yeah.
We'll take a stab at how much longer than we think these might be. But Cypher Academy. It's very heavy words. It's very wordy in the way it's written. So it makes you kind of reread the sentences a couple times. If you're used to that with like something with like Hunter x Hunter, this should be perfectly fine.
Looking at you, Witch Watch.
No, that one's not. By wordy, I don't mean that it has a lot of words. I mean that the way that they arrange their sentences make it so that you kind of have to double back and like what the hell did they mean by that? Like, what is that?
Okay.
So I think if you get the premise and you're picking it up and rolling with it, I think it has a good
strong start.
I think it has a good chance. So we'll see where it goes, but I can definitely see it falling off of people's radars pretty quick. So hopefully it does a little bit of like the Dr. Stone stuff, because it basically just is a bunch of smart kids.
Oh, okay. I'll read it. I mean, I'll find out.
Yeah. So if you guys check that out, let me know what you think. Next one. One more was the new one. Which one was it? Deadly Sins.
Ooh.
Oh yeah, this one. I'm excited for this so far.
I actually look forward to it every week so far. It's a strong start.
2 weeks in.
Newest chapter was pretty crazy.
Shonen needed something dark like this to like really spice things up. Because I feel like not all their content, right? Because they got like Children X, Hell's Paradise, all that stuff. They got dark manga, but like Chainsaw Man, of course. But like this one is just came out of nowhere, and I really like that. Like I really like
this one is grounded more. It's not what you're used to, where it's like super like fantastical in some way, like whether it be fantasy or sci-fi or something. This one is very grounded. Now there's other shonen anime and manga that are grounded, but this one being as grounded as it is and very psychological is really cool.
Yeah. And it's mysterious because you're just trying to slowly piece together what's going on with the main character and his family. And
although we've only really truly explored the main characters so far, it's 2 chapters. What do you want from them? But it seems like it's meant to be incredibly character driven, and that excites me.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, I think this one has a high chance to be an extremely popular.
This will be a front runner for
me. Look at the rating.
It's already got
a
4.3. Yeah, that's pretty high.
These are the other works that he has worked on. I've never heard of them. So it's a one shot. This one shot got developed, probably canceled, and it was recent too. It looks like we didn't get our hands on it.
I don't even remember that one.
That might have been. It's possible that was the inspiration for this. Who knows?
Maybe it's got a similar name.
Because the character on the novella looks similar.
Yeah. When we keep doing these, I'm gonna scroll down to see what their other works are as well, just so we can.
That's a good idea.
What they're doing.
That's a great idea.
But yeah, I recommend this one. I won't lie. When I started and I was reading that first chapter, I was kind of bored. But
then it got you with the twist.
Then it gets you with the twist because I think it's like a purposeful thing that they did.
Definitely,
because it just seems normal. As normal as it could be.
It's specifically, it's called a page turner, is the term for it. When you flip the page at the end of whether it be a comic or a manga, or even a book potentially for a sentence, and there's a sudden surprise that changes everything that you weren't able to see ahead to it, obviously, and then and that's how they hook you in.
Yeah, they got that,
and they do it good.
Because I just remember it dropping and I'm like, all right, new manga. I guess I'll try out the first episode. I'm reading it like Fabian just said. I was getting kind of bored. I'm like, all right, let's quickly finish this. And then that ending at the table, and I was just, when he got to his room, I was just like, oh man, what the heck? So it's already.
Read the whole first chapter if you're reading it. You can't be like, I'm bored. It's not gripping me. And finish the entire first chapter at least.
Yeah, definitely.
And if you don't like it, walk away. Don't worry about it.
I feel like the manga rule for me.
You should finish the first chapter.
You should finish the first chapter because they're usually a pretty lengthy one, and you can get a feel for the.
Can be a little more material, a little more world building.
Always
I think it's fair.
The story and stuff. Yeah.
I think it's fair to say that for a lot of people. And I think a lot of mangas that we've read that have become very popular, they have a really strong first chapter because that chapter is longer.
Yep.
And it's supposed to hook you in. If you aren't hooked in at all by one of these newer manga by the first chapter, it's a lengthy chapter, it's probably not going to be for you.
It's not always the case, right? But for most of the time, it is.
Yeah, I just to save people some time, I guess. Just put it down. See what other people say about it. Pick it back up if it picks up some steam, more steam, and
this is rare. But for some reason, the art style really bothers you. You shouldn't force yourself to read it. Just wait. Maybe it gets an anime. Maybe it's more to your liking. Now, that shouldn't bother most people, but there are some people who will be offended by art styles. I don't know who. I don't think I know anyone personally, unless we're talking about exactly one.
Right.
We know a guy.
Yes, we do.
Let's see. The next one that was the newest one was this one.
Ginka Gluna.
Ginka and Gluna.
So, am I the only one? No, you're still reading this, right, Fabian?
I am.
All right. So, like, the first chapter actually grabbed me because, like, I really liked the art. Like, I think the art for the series was really impressive, but it just felt so dry and just kind of like the story, like the plot that they were setting up in that first chapter. I just wasn't feeling it. And then I ended up dropping it after chapter 3. Personally, I just wasn't feeling it. But no disrespect to the author, of course. Like whoever's doing the art, if it's the author, he's got great skill for that. And who knows? Maybe it'll go somewhere. Like maybe they'll do a thing later and change the game. But no, probably not.
So far, I
so many die. I've been in there so long and been like, oh, you got the death sickness. Like, even the way he's writing it right now, I think he's already been told his manga's gonna die.
Oh man, he's like, you could like tell it's like starting to set up the ending.
That's just how it feels to me. I could be wrong. There could be a shift. I'm not a psychic, but I've read a lot of these, and just the way it's going, it feels like he's speeding along to a ending to just finish it because he was told that he's getting canceled. That's how I'm reading it right now. I could be wrong. I would love to be wrong. I'm not in love with it though either. I like the art. I like the art a lot. I like not the snowman, which I want to say is Glinka. I forget which one's Glinka and which one's Gluna. I think Gluna's the girl though. I like the girl. I like her energy.
Yeah, I was digging her energy. I was not a fan of the snowman at all.
Yeah. But they already introduced like what should be an endgame character pretty early, so we'll see where we go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I wasn't feeling the snowman. I wasn't feeling the relationship. Like you guys said, the artwork looks great.
Yeah.
And I'll be happy if this doesn't work out and it doesn't have like some crazy development that makes it more enjoyable to general audiences or deep weebs like us.
What's its rating? I didn't see.
It is at a 3.6, I believe.
Oh, it's dying.
Yeah. So I mean, well, I wouldn't say that because there's some on here that have gone with long careers that have a not the greatest ratings on here. And Anime Planet is, for those of you that don't know, it's a strong alternative to my anime list. It has a lot more friendlier like interface in my opinion, but it is a smaller website, so it's a smaller pool of thoughts that give these ratings.
Yeah.
Right.
But I feel like when people find an alternative for my anime list, I feel like these are the people that like deeply care about this stuff. So I feel like these opinions are, take them as you will, but I respect the ratings that are on here. Let's see, what would we declare?
It's what's her name? The Oni. She's not an Oni, but I mean
Tokyo Demon Bride.
Demon Bride.
Oh well, I'll say right away for my opinion on it. I'm loving it. I love the comedy in it.
This is an absolutely you show too.
Yeah, it feels like they're setting up some big thing with the Sacred Blood stuff. I won't get into spoilers or anything, but the Sacred Blood thing is keeping my interest. I'm really enjoying it. I want it to go places. I think it has the potential to.
The pacing's really good.
Yeah, it's so far it's pretty episodic, I would say, but
they just introduced the idea of a plot just now.
Yeah, the latest chapter I read it almost right away every week because I'm actually really enjoying it. So, but yeah, that's my thoughts on it. I'm liking this one. I hope it goes places.
We're how many chapters are we in right now? 13, is it?
13.
Oh, 13, yeah.
So we're 13 in, and now we're starting to introduce proper plot, which is fine because we've been doing character introductions, world building, character development, just getting to really meet and know each character for our main cast.
Right.
So I think this author has approached it well. I like it so far. I like the manga. I don't think it's bad. It's not samey, but like it's following a pretty well-known formula, I want to say. We've seen this before, so that might be a problem for them. But I don't have a problem with it. I like it.
So for me, I like it. I like the artwork. I like the direction. I even like the concept. It's not exactly in my wheelhouse, but it's not bad by any means. The only thing that concerns me, and if you guys didn't know, the order that these chapters like come out on Sunday or the order that they appear in the magazine.
In the magazine. Yeah, I knew about that.
So this one has been in the back for a while, which
that's usually not a good sign.
Not a good sign.
Yeah, I know.
Sign. This has also been there, but we'll talk about that later.
Yeah. I think is that the last of the new ones?
This is the last of the new ones. This is the last of the new ones.
Okay.
I remember that
I looked up the other one, but I don't remember the name.
You talking about the one that's about to drop?
Yeah.
I got you. Give me a sec. It's called.
I did in our chat.
Probably did.
Should have been more prepared.
It's called Fabricant 100 by Daisuke Inoshima. A deranged doctor unleashes something not quite human. And then I don't know how to share my screen.
It's not even listed on here.
Oh, okay.
No, because
that's it, folks.
Usually they don't add them until they're actually published.
Yeah.
Someone actually commented on the tweet that Shonen put out, and they said, "Fun fact: the one-shot version of this series won last year's Golden Future Cup, which is a competition Jump holds to find the best rookie authors."
What was the name of the one-shot?
It's just a one-shot version of the. He didn't mention the name.
He didn't say the name. Okay.
I mean,
if it was if the one-shot was published on the app, I may have read it, because that sounds mild. When you said the name, it sounded familiar. I feel like I've read his one-shot.
Yeah, this doesn't look real.
I don't know, because I'm looking up like the author. It's just the works he came out with is just saying. So the translation in Japanese is Jinzo Ningen 100. So his one shot was just called Jinzo Ningen 100. So I'm assuming it's just the same name.
Okay.
He's actually also an assistant on a manga that you guys really enjoy, the samurai one. What's it called? The Elusive Samurai. Yeah. So that's actually a good sign right there, right?
That's a great sign. The art in that is insane.
I haven't read it yet, but
I don't know what they're doing.
Anytime I see the art, I'm just like.
And it's got the number 100 in it, just like Mob Psycho 100.
Oh yeah. No, but this makes me even more excited. I'm definitely gonna read this once it drops on Sunday.
For
I was gonna read it anyway, so this is just cool. I get background knowledge.
Yeah.
I definitely like knowing a bit about the background as well. So next up, we're going to get into some of the ones that are shorter, that have yet to get or some of the ones that have yet to get an anime announcement. Well, actually, I think there's a couple here that we can talk about that are relatively new still, which really, I think is the only newer manga that has been a standout for a lot of people. And that is Akane Banashi. Sorry if
Akane Banashi, I think.
Akane Banashi.
I think I could still.
Akane Banashi. I gotta say it with with a little bit of the Mexican flavor, Yeah, man.
I love this so much.
A lot of people are loving it. I know you guys love it.
So good.
I am highly enjoying it. Like, you got 9s in the reviews here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Look at that. Yeah, it's definitely gonna get an anime. Like, there's no way.
First real breakout manga for the author.
I feel like
they're knocking
this
out
one won't translate great to anime just because of how it is, but maybe I'm wrong.
I think it's going to be great in anime form because of
it depends what studio gets it, I guess.
True. I would love it if like Kyoto Animation got it or someone that really does well with scenery, because that's one thing about this manga is the scenery, like because like even though they're just on the stage, she's on the stage or the character's on the stage telling the story, the author writes, it takes you places, and they could do that. The anime could do that so much justice. Like it needs an anime. It deserves one. I can't. I'm just glad I started it.
So I told you guys this, but when I originally started reading this, I felt like I was not understanding the concept at first, because they talk about Rakugo like it's like an extremely competitive sport, like almost. And I mean that's just the shonen spice, right? Like you really put a competitive vibe to something.
They do address that it's like old fashioned and kind of like on the decline. It's not like dying out, but on the decline.
Right. I'd never heard of this. So when I was reading it, I was like, how is this important? Like, how is this important to anybody? Like, it's not like sports or like even Yu-Gi-Oh! Like a card game.
Even if it was like sumo wrestling, you'd be like, well, yeah, that's...
It's not even considered a sport, though, isn't it? It's just a form of entertainment.
No, it's just a form of entertainment, but like, we'll get into it as we go into another one that's kind of similar to this. So I'll tell you guys about it, or probably get you guys to want to read it. But it's more about the analysis of the art form, which is where this thing really shines. However, and this is all great, but I feel like this isn't going to be for everyone.
I agree.
This is an acquired taste.
It is.
Undoubtedly good, but like some things just aren't for everybody. Like, you know, the three of us, we're out to consume whatever the hell we can. Yeah, we're gluttons for entertainment.
You're not gonna tell little Timmy, here's Berserk, read up. What's that, little Timmy? You're mentally scarred? That's a shame.
So yeah, this one is definitely gonna be sticking around for quite some time.
Yeah, hopefully. Hard to imagine it goes anywhere.
So now, the other ones, and I'm gonna do my best to kind of put these in order of chapter count, like kind of like I did.
Oh, chapter count? Like high to low or low to high?
Low to high.
Okay.
And I mean this by like the weekly series. We're gonna go weekly series first, and then we'll do monthly at the end. So the next one that was kind of a newer one before Akiniban that actually survived for a long time is I've learned that people pronounce this
one
P6.
P6, okay.
So,
I was gonna say if
your
you have
guess
to
is
say
good as mine because I'm just gonna go P P P P P P P P.
Yeah, I love it. Have you seen the new show P P P P P P?
This is gonna be tough to market. This is gonna be tough to market, and people they really have to verbalize that it's called P6. Because there is nowhere. If you just saw that, like you guys said, it's not an easy thing.
Oh, man,
this was a rare pass for me when I saw it come out.
Same.
So I thought about passing up on it, to be honest with you, and I'm glad I didn't, because it's actually pretty good. The only thing is that this would be even better as an anime, because the way that they present the music is going to be like a very beautiful thing to be animated, because I could see a whole lot of like glittery, like like very psychedelic animations being had when these people are playing the piano. So basically it stars this family of like really prominent musicians that really outcasted this singular kid, and they blame him for the hospitalization of their mother, and their father is just so strict about everything.
What's it like gave birth and now the mother's in the hospital afterward kind of thing? Yeah,
basically. And then the father basically resents all them, and then he's a very strict person, and it's kind of like the reason that they're all successful. But this kid, Lucky, here on the cover, was not good at playing the piano, so he strives to get good. Essentially, he's running his Dark Souls phase. So when he finally starts doing it, he plays in such a unique way that people start realizing, it's not that he doesn't know how to play, it's that he plays in such a new way that it's something that really touches people's emotions and takes them places. So like I'm saying, like that that will kill in like the high end animated stories. Like I could see this being like one of those Netflix shows that like
one
really
needs
crush some hearts with like
Yeah.
a beautiful symphony of like just beautiful noises. You know what I'm trying to say? Like it'd just be a great anime.
You know, that also
It's
would have
been-
been a great name for it.
What would it have been?
Beautiful Noises.
Yeah, that would have. My only worry is that this is also in the back of the magazine. I don't know, based on the events of recent chapters, it might be coming to an end soon. And I don't know if that's hey, we've got to make room for other stuff, or hey, I know you're almost done, so we just got.
Have you developed the sense of this manga's dying like I have?
I've read a couple now, and it's usually pretty obvious when you think something's going to get axed because of what.
So I thought this one was going to be honest with
really?
you. So but you know, that was early on with my quest here, and I
survived.
I don't know how I'd feel about it now, knowing.
I wonder if they just need like one music one in their quota.
I want to say I'd recommend it to you guys. I recommend it to you too.
Okay.
As for like the general public,
general populace,
it's a tough sell just because it's about music. Like I completely understand if you think this is not good content, it's not something up your alley. Like it's not gonna be. I'm not gonna be heartbroken about it. I mean, I'm not out here defending P6 like it's my only son. Like I'm just saying it's decent.
Yeah, for sure.
It's an option.
So some of the other ones that have yet to get an anime announcement. Oh, actually, no, this one did get an anime announcement. So we're gonna move on to High School Family.
Oh, you've told me about this.
However, this one.
That's all you.
I'm surprised nobody talks about. And I'll be honest with you, this cover right here is not appealing.
No.
Seeing this, I dreaded reading it. I dreaded starting to start it, but I was like, you know what? It's got a high chapter count. I started this around when it had like 50 chapters.
What's the rating in the author for like other works?
Let's see, 10.
Wow.
That's generous, but
yeah, that's pretty high.
Looks like
this one's at a 3.5. So I get it. It's a gag manga.
Yeah, it's a gag manga.
It's not really doing too much. Oh man, he put a lot of work into another series.
Yeah, 256. That's not bad.
Wow.
16 volumes. That's pretty impressive. Yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
I never heard of it, but
the manga artwork on the inside is not nearly as disgusting as this cover. It's actually far more charming. This is
to be fair, I think he's just trying to invoke the old animation style with that.
Yeah. So if I could describe this show without going into the synopsis or whatever, it's basically like The Simpsons if they all went to high school together every day.
Oh, okay. So
even
like
the cat goes to high school with them, bro.
Oh, I love it.
The cat. The moments that the cat has are stupendous. They are hilarious. 10 out of 10. That's where that guy probably gave that review score with a 10. No, but it's very heartwarming. It's very, very funny. I honestly, if it gets an anime, it's gonna catapult this manga.
Okay.
I definitely feel strongly about it.
Gag manga's got to do real good to get an anime.
It has a little bit of a story though, because it actually goes through their years in high school.
Oh, okay.
So they're on their second year right now, I believe. I checked.
Man, that's amazing.
So there's some development there. There's some funny moments because, you know, they approach it in a way where it's like, hey, this guy used to try to go to, the dad used to try to go to high school there, and he dropped out. And he used to be a star athlete. So then he joins the volleyball team.
Oh no.
And there's some IQ level like parody chapters in here that I just oh man, I wish you guys had read it. I understand that why you guys haven't. But it's actually
it's on my list.
It's a really funny manga. The chapters are really short, so that's one benefit. They're
short. I can rip.
They're only 15 pages long, 11 maybe.
Oh wow, okay.
It's a gag manga, so they're meant to like kind of just fluff the magazine a little bit.
Yeah.
But I like it. It's a lot of fun. As far as other content here that will not that has not had an anime rumored or confirmed. I think I'm gonna have to go back to the bottom to find that answer out. Elusive Samurai.
I love it.
From the creator of one of my favorite animes is Assassination Classroom. Am I blind? It's here, right?
It starts with a T, right?
The Elusive.
You're right. I kept looking for elusive, like there was no.
Like it starts with a E, yeah.
That's how iTunes used to work with music. Like you
Good old
count the word the. But yeah, 88 chapters in. I think I picked this up around where it was 30 chapters.
I read this from start.
Says animal abuse in the content warning.
Oh yeah, big time.
Oh really?
Oh, if you're an animal lover, that's rough, buddy.
Oh wow, okay. Well, it's
not torture, but I mean, maybe what's happening right now.
He wrote this one shot. I like this one shot. I don't know.
Is that the zombie one?
Yeah, F-Ken.
Yeah.
I thought it was decent. It's got a 2.8 rating on here, though. So I guess
maybe not enough people.
So this has like I was saying earlier, the ratings don't necessarily mean too much because like me and Marty both really like this series, and it's 3.7 on here, and it's 88 chapters. So like clearly, it's got something going for it.
Yeah,
big fan.
The artwork looks beautiful. Like and all the manga like covers, like I always see like new manga cover posts, and I'm just like, oh my god, that looks really good. That one's on my list, definitely still to read, but
it's also historically accurate, I want to say, in a lot of it.
For a lot of real life.
So if like you're a history buff, I'm aware it's Japanese. Everyone's aware it's Japanese history, I hope. But
right,
it's if you're a history buff, that also could be your lead-in. It's interesting because it's alluding to the idea of like what spiritual, fantastical elements, but we haven't seen anything to make it absolutely concrete. Just stuff that suggests it.
Okay.
Which I really like that, actually. I really like the idea of alluding to it, and it could be there, it could not be there.
Yeah, that sounds cool.
Yeah, if it's not there, that'd be really cool. If it's there, that's still really cool. We'll see. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm definitely that one's on my list. It's
you know what I'm talking about for that. Like when I would say that, right, Fabian?
Yep.
Yeah, the allusion to it. The art's very metaphorical too, in a lot of ways, which is cool.
Yeah. Here's another one.
Here we go.
Then I'm surprised.
I deserve to get yelled at for this one.
Yeah, Marty is behind, and he was reading it alongside me. The author actually has quite a reputation,
or however you say that one. I've heard about that one. I've read it. Skeet. I don't know, but Lost to Space.
The reason I know about them is because they were in the J-Stars Victory Plus video game.
Right, that's where it was. Okay.
Astra Lost in Space, you had recommended to me, and it's honestly one of my favorite animes of all time.
It's so good, man.
Very concise, great storytelling, short and sweet. You get your start, your conflict, and your resolution, and your ending perfectly in 13 episodes or 49 chapters in this case. So,
plus the first couple episodes were like longer too. At least the first episode was like almost an hour long or something. I remember.
Yeah,
that was pretty cool.
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Witch Watch.
It's on my list.
It's at a 3.4, and I completely disagree with that rating.
Oh, really? Okay. You like it a lot?
I like this. I like this manga.
It's good.
It's slow. It is not like Astro Lost in Space.
A lot of reading.
He pulls those punches though. Like when he has those moments where he's like revealing things. Same vibe.
Nice.
It started almost as a gag manga, though.
Yeah, that's true. It started very comedic and very episodic, and
where I fell off is where the plot really was starting. I want to say.
No, they went back to one shot stuff again.
Yeah, so I don't know.
So it basically has plot, one shots, and then it goes back and forth. So it's basically like character development, relationships through gags and stuff.
Is the club president come back? That poor man.
It's not. No spoilers. It's not as great, but I do give it the same vibe as Kaguya-sama.
Okay.
In a lot of ways.
Yeah, so. I'm gonna read it soon-ish, hopefully.
I love being lied to.
Into the backlog.
Into the backlog goes.
Yeah, I've put a lot of things in the backlog reading all this, so it's not like I'm like fast forwarded into something. I left something else behind, something way behind, to be able to do all this.
Right.
What else does not have an anime announcement? Choujin X.
Yep.
Shonen X is honestly.
I'm way behind right now, but I mean, it just means I get a nice binge.
Oh, I envy you because it's really picked up. Where like the current arc they're on is.
I'm back in baseball land. Actually, I finished baseball land, but
yeah, the author of Tokyo Ghoul made this one. So if you like Tokyo Ghoul, which
that's his biggest credit, but
most of the anime community does, you'll love. Oh, he made a Hisoka origin story. I had no idea. That's cool. I might have to check that out somehow. Unless you have to watch it by other means. But anyway, Choujin X is the only issue with it. Look at that, 4.1 rating too. But the only issue with this one is that its schedule isn't consistent. The author will just come out with like a chapter.
Saying it has a schedule is incorrect.
Right. That's the thing. Is it doesn't have a schedule. But
I'm gonna tell you what. He could take all the time he wants after he dropped this masterpiece right here.
Exactly. Like he freaking that was just amazing. The manga for Tokyo Ghoul.
I prefer this anyway because at least he's not burning himself out and dying early.
Yeah, and then just losing interest in his story and not wanting to keep up with it.
Doing it for the money, sure.
Yeah, but this one I see going places and like I think like because it's at how many chapters is it now? 40 something?
30 something.
So it's 32, but like he
there's
does a lot of that like
30...
32.1 and 32.2.
I don't know why they do that. It's so weird to me, but it is what it is.
I think it might be that he intends to make that one really long chapter.
Oh, okay. Maybe he did make a really long chapter and they're just separating it or something.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, this one, I highly recommend that one.
It's good.
I'm loving it. I hope it gets an anime. I definitely see it. I see that it could. I think it could get an anime, but...
Do not let Tokyo Ghoul be your barometer for it. It is not Tokyo Ghoul. It is something else.
So it does feel similar, though? Like, honestly?
Artwork and the creepy vibe.
Yeah, like, in that way, definitely. But obviously, the world they live in
the premise.
the world they live in, though, is kind of similar, too, right? Because they got people that have Chojin, like, powers. They're Chojin, and then there's normal humans. But it's different. It's definitely different. But it's got a lot of similarities.
Well, distancing it from Tokyo Ghoul is both good and bad.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah,
but
I'm enjoying that one. I just wish I had a better schedule.
That irregular schedule makes it really exciting when a new chapter
could be
drops.
Really funny when we get like one manga where we're all just like terrible, bad, dunk on it.
That's the thing about this though, man. It's not.
There's not many to say that. I think the only one so far was Ginka and Luna. Like,
Luna.
I kind of breezed over this topic.
Ghost Reaper.
Hiatus. So you want to go over the hiatus ones real quick?
Yeah, we'll do the hiatus ones. This one's pretty long, for where it's at.
I was gonna read this one.
I'd still recommend it. Good.
Yeah, Marty, you were recommending it to me. I know the author that did Rosario Vampire, and I read the manga, and I've watched the anime like 8 times. I love Rosario Vampire so much, so I just know I'll probably like Ghost Reaper Girl because I love the author's work.
I like this particular manga so much that I would want to watch and read the other one.
That one's very ecchi, so you might not like it, but I do want you to read it because the manga is less ecchi.
I'll say this now for everybody that I don't entirely mind the ecchi. It's when it's the only thing that the show has to offer.
Right. That's completely justified. It's fair. And another thing about this one, though, that you haven't mentioned yet, isn't it read from left to right instead of right to left, like normal manga?
Yes. So it's like a normal book in American culture, a normal comic book.
I'm very surprised my brain doesn't melt whenever I read it weekly, but it did not.
It's in black and white, so it's very, like, I've literally gone from reading a Marvel comic to going to read this and being confused why I'm still reading it like a Marvel comic. Like,
right. Yeah. Because I actually read the first chapter when it originally dropped, and I was liking it, but that was throwing me off.
The interesting thing about that is, if I'm remembering correctly, which I could be wrong, but I believe at the very beginning of the manga, there's a note where the author said they specifically wanted to write it this way as opposed to what is traditionally done.
Yeah, they were saying that, when Shonen Jump would drop a new chapter, they would say, as the author requested, they want you to read it this way. So,
I wonder if it was to build up into something eventually.
Maybe.
Imagine if there was a chapter where it was in reverse for some reason back to normal manga. That would be crazy.
That would be interesting.
That'd be a really good use of the medium.
Yeah. I agree.
But at any rate, this one is definitely recommended. I really like it.
It is on hiatus.
Big hiatus though.
Author's sick, right?
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I think so. I know for Ruri for sure, but.
Oh, you want to get into that one now?
Yeah, we're gonna transition right into that one.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any other ones that are on hiatus on the list. So.
Not monthly.
Yeah.
We'll get
a long hiatus or anything.
Yeah.
So this one is not in my wheelhouse in any way, but it was on here, and I did basically want my little project to be read everything that's on here, and I was pleasantly surprised by this one. The artwork was on point. The story was really cool.
Characters are real.
It was very wholesome. And I was digging it. And then, unfortunately, the author fell ill. And it's currently on hiatus. And there's really no word on what the status of it is.
Yeah, no, I haven't seen any updates on it.
What are your people rating this?
4.4.
All right. Good job, people. But I'm still upset that this is on hiatus. Obviously, I hope the author's okay. I'm not gonna be like, how dare they be sick for my entertainment.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and it's crazy because I remember seeing on Twitter
so much excitement.
So many people were excited about it. People I was seeing tweets oh, this author of this famous manga / anime recommends this manga. The first volume already dropped in Japan, I believe. It's sold a ton of copies. So
I really hope the author gets a fast, speedy recovery and just is able to knock it back out.
Agreed. Yeah, I'm not seeing any updates on the manga. So hopefully soon.
I'm definitely excited to read more.
I'll once it gets announced that it's coming back, I'll definitely get into it so I can be along for the.
I would still recommend if you like slice of life, and because that's where it kind of ends up falling. It's still a really good read for how little there is.
Yeah.
And ideally there's more, but I can't tell you there will be.
All right. Yeah, it's definitely one that I could see getting a anime at some point, but just off the vibe that it has.
Totally.
So I think we're gonna get into the ones that have anime announcements or rumors now.
Okay.
Based on their chapter count. So I think the lowest count that we have is Blue Box.
Oh, that's definitely getting an anime.
That's announced already, I thought.
It's rumor. I saw a rumor. We might see it at Jump Fest this year, but
this one's your guys' though, man.
Yeah.
So I really like this. Is really, I mean, you guys know me. I'm more of an action nut, and I just really like superheroes and abilities and powers and stuff. So romance falls into more of the other thing that I like, which is storytelling. So obviously, I'm always going to be someone, even though I love action, I will always put the storytelling over an action scene any day.
Yeah.
Like you can never throw a punch in something, and I will be perfectly fine as long as the story is compelling and told very well. And I think that this does that for me.
Yeah.
It's sitting at a 4.4. I know I recommended it to you many times because I knew that you love romance, and I don't know how you're gonna have to tell me because I don't know how similar this is to most other romance mangas or animes.
It's very similar.
I'm assuming it follows the
it follows the exact
well.
all the tropes. The only like, and it's not really a twist, but like the only difference is that they like the main characters both have like individual goals. So it's even though it's a romance, it's like the romance isn't. And I wouldn't even say it's like the main. Like it is the main focus. It's the plot is he likes this girl, but like. The nice thing about this manga is that they both have these individual goals, and they're like the story is revolving around them, trying to attain that. So that's something I really like. That like it's not just about the romance. Granted, where the story is at now, it's more about the romance, right? But in the beginning of the story, even though it starts off about the romance, I would argue that it drifted more to like their like. Taiki's the main character, like his goals, like because he's a badminton player, so he wants to get better at that. And then Shisato, the girl, she's a basketball player, so it's really unique. And I think the anime is going to do amazing, and I know the manga is already selling very well too. So I think it's getting an anime pretty soon.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was either rumored or pretty much all but confirmed.
I thought it was confirmed
from a lot of those sources that usually leak this stuff. So
yeah, I think it was confirmed by a leak as well. I just don't remember.
I'm excited for it. It makes me feel like a little girl inside, and I
feel the butterflies.
It tugs at your heartstrings.
Hold up. Yeah, it already has over 1 million, almost 2 million copies in circulation, and it's only got 8 volumes out.
Wow!
So that's pretty good. Like,
it's sports and romance anime. It's gonna do it if it's good.
For sure.
I know you want to click on it.
I do so bad.
I've seen you hovering it
because nobody is reading this. Nobody.
I will say I don't see anyone talking.
It got an anime announced, right?
Oh yeah, it's getting an anime. Yeah,
which still surprises me.
Surprises me, and I'm reading it.
Yeah, I've seen. Yeah, you can already see like the previews for it. It looks fun. I'm looking forward.
It's a gag manga, right?
Yeah.
From what you guys.
It'll.
I haven't read this.
It'll surprise. Here's the.
Oh, I thought you did read that one.
Here's the poster for it. I don't know when it's gonna drop.
Yeah, a robot made or a robot in a maid outfit. That just looks hilarious. Like
it very well is hilarious. I will tell you that. However, some of the reasons that I felt like it wasn't going to get an anime was because it is very much attuned to the magazine itself. It makes references to a lot of the books in the magazine and will reference them, even events that happen in that certain issue of the magazine.
Well, maybe they'll do like current events in like the anime that's airing or something like for the shonen. I don't know.
I mean, I'm all for it. It's gonna be fun.
Definitely.
I just don't think it's gonna win people over. It's very acquired taste. This is gonna get like from the anime community. I expect this thing to get the hate She-Hulk got from Marvel fans.
I was gonna ask though, how do you think the Japanese audience are gonna respond to it? Because that's technically their demographic.
For me, how I feel like I gauge if the Japanese audience is liking it is how high this number gets.
Yeah.
Right here, 115 chapters. I caught up to this one. It was at like 50 chapters.
Yeah.
That's a lot of chapters. Are they like longer chapters? Or
No, they're shorter.
No, it's gag.
They do have a good length of dialogue, but it's all pretty funny. The humor is a little hit and miss, but for the most part, it's all it's pretty hilarious. I mean, it's entertaining. I go from the back of the magazine to the front whenever I'm reading, whenever the chapters drop. So this and High School Family are side by side every week. So I get to just read my comedy every week.
This is actually coming out this upcoming week. It says December 4th.
Oh.
So
there you go.
So I'm not sure where this is, if we're even going to be able to watch this. I haven't seen like Crunchyroll poster.
There's a way.
Right. Well, we won't.
Hi ho, a sailing we will.
So it's saying here that each episode will just be 5 minutes long.
That makes sense.
Okay. It's doing the I can't think of any of the names of all of them. There's so many. It's
funny. They actually still, ever since the anime announcement, they talk about getting an anime in every chapter.
Oh, that's
can't wait for the anime to come out.
It's amazing.
Or like they're prepping for it. Like the other.
I wonder if
she got like plastic surgery to prepare for the premiere of the anime.
I hope that like in the anime they start talking about getting a movie.
That would be great.
And just it keeps progressing.
Yeah, I don't recommend it to anyone.
I cannot, in good conscience, recommend this.
No, I just feel like I recommend it reluctantly because I'm a psychopath and I just want to read everything. There's a lot of fun to be had here, but I don't want anyone to hate me because I put them through this. It's an acquired taste. You gotta kind of adapt to the level of humor. You gotta put yourself on its level. You can't like bring this content to your level. Like that's how I'll put it.
Yeah.
So next up, I feel like I'm just running around scrambling now. With so many manga, bro. Like I love manga so much.
Mashals. Well,
because they got an announcement, didn't it?
I guess no. Yeah, 100%. It did. It did. Voice cast and everything.
Is Black Clover getting an anime?
A movie?
You mean I'm like.
Okay, so the shortest next one. Gotcha. The shortest next one I think is Sakamoto Days, but let me just confirm.
Really, Sakamoto?
Wow. Sakamoto?
For the
Kaiju number 8. Because
but that's not a part of the weekly Sunday. Well, we're gonna get to that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's
that got an anime announcement.
So these three right here is what we'll talk about next. Because these are kind of like the new, I want to say, it's the closest thing to a big three.
Scroll over one more. There you go.
I feel like this one isn't in the conversation with these three.
I don't know about that.
It's not talked about as much, I would say.
I agree that it's good, but it's not, I don't think it's in like the wheelhouse.
Well, one of these is going to be exiting right soon.
Yeah, well,
actually,
we'll talk about
two of them, Mashal.
We'll talk about the one that I prefer the most.
I was actually talking about Mashal.
One of my
Sakamoto Days is phenomenal. I love it so much.
This one's gonna be big when it comes.
No one's ready for this. No one's ready.
No one's ready. Yeah, no one knows what's coming once.
People love One Punch Man. This is about to just blow that out of the water.
Oh yeah, it's so much fun. Like you guys were recommended to me a lot, and then I was watching a podcast. This guy that I watch, great guy, he was hyping it up when it was first airing. So I'm like, it was, before you guys recommended it, I knew about it, and I was like, I'll probably give it a try once I see that it's going places, because I just like to wait sometimes and see how manga is doing, and just what a surprise! So much action, so much ridiculousness in this manga. Like some of the things he does it just makes me laugh.
Some of the things he does, everything he does,
everything. But like he just does stuff that I don't even think our possible even in fiction sometimes.
I like how the author's able to reel it back in though.
Yeah.
It'll get that way.
It'll get
but then he
goofy.
could easily just completely hone in the moment and change the atmosphere in a second.
Oh,
and
yeah.
you know how difficult that is to get on the page?
He's also really good at turning it on. Like, it'll be sudden sometimes when it shifts. We've been seeing that a lot lately in the current arc. Where things will be normal, lax, then all of a sudden, bam.
Yeah.
No, but this one's in the Go conversation already. It's not even like remotely over, I think. And
who knows how long this one goes.
The next one is
Mashal?
Mashal will be last.
Okay.
I
love this one.
No, Mashal would have been next, but we're already here, so.
Yeah. Matt has not read this one yet, unfortunately.
Couple 23 chapters in. I'm liking it though. I hear good things, so I'm excited to keep reading.
I believe we're in the final arc. Was that confirmed?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, 100%.
They're almost done.
That said, though, this final arc's going to take a minute.
Oh really?
It is gonna. It's gonna take a hot minute.
I am here for it so much.
It is beautiful the way that they're doing it. It is.
I am so happy.
So unique, and it matches. The title of it makes so much more sense on top of what it already tells you, just plain as day. But as you get to the ending or where the final arc is going, it makes even more sense.
So they touched a taboo subject in story writing. I'm not going to say what because that's a spoiler if I tell you what it actually is, unfortunately. But for those who are caught up and for those who know literature and storytelling, there is a taboo thing to use a lot of the time, and it ends up being poor. It's usually a poor writing tool, and they do a bad job, and it takes away from the story. But they did it in a good way this time, I say, and I assume you can catch on to what I'm talking about, right, Fabian?
Yeah.
And would you agree that they did it in a good way, as opposed to how it's usually used as a writing crutch?
It is a very unique usage. It's very.
I'll have to check it out. I can't wait.
You got 100. It's honestly a pretty fast read.
Yeah.
Some chapters have a lot of dialogue, but it's necessary.
The beginning feels very dialogue. I'm not a fast reader, unfortunately, so it just takes me longer to get through stuff.
If I had to give it one negative, I'd say the setting can be weird sometimes. It just moves around so much. That's not a bad thing, but kind of. I don't know. I love it.
There's a lot to keep tabs on.
Yeah.
A lot to keep tabs on.
It moves around a lot.
It moves from characters to characters a lot.
You'll be in an ocean, all of a sudden you're over in Russia.
Interesting.
You gotta really pay attention, and you gotta get your notebook ready and write down all the characters' names.
Well, that's one you personally struggle with, yeah.
I just accept it. I just, here's the dude with the fancy eyebrows.
So we gotta go click on Mashal now.
Yeah,
Mashal. You just pass it to the left. There you go.
This son of a gun right here.
I know what it's about, and I've seen a lot of spoiler panels.
It starts as gag. Does it start as gag? I don't know. I don't know what to call Mashal. It's One Punch Man.
It's a unique anomaly.
Yeah, it sure is. We got a fight and a half left, I'd say.
Oh, really? It's that close to being done, huh?
Yeah, that's probably why all these new series are coming out.
Yeah.
Oh, no. I gotta get on it then.
That's one of the reasons why I don't want to acknowledge it as the big three, because it doesn't get to hold that position for much longer.
There'll never be another big three. I just said that because those three kind of came out around the same time. Yeah, but
everyone wants them.
They kind of got their little bit of hype out around the same time.
Yeah. Although Chainsaw Man, maybe.
Nah, that's a part of the Dark Trio with
You're right.
And
the Dark
Hell's Paradise. So I don't know what to call this trio. The Silly Trio, because there's comedy in all three of them.
That's true.
Right. Yeah.
But it was part of what motivated me to start reading all these. There's other reasons, obviously you guys, and then the Omnibus Collector on YouTube and TikTok. That dude, he made me realize that you can read however much you want in your life. that dude has a library that I aspire to. Like,
yeah, I've seen it. It's amazing.
Beautiful. Shout out to him. Next one, Mission Yozakura.
Oh, one I'm caught up on, so I can
So
talk.
this is a rare one where it's me and Matt and not Fabian.
No, Fabian.
I'm caught up with this.
Yeah, he caught up with it.
Oh, I didn't know you caught up. My bad. Yeah.
Don't mess
that
with
was
me,
the
son.
case for some time.
No, yeah, it was slow. I just didn't feel like reading manga at the moment. I was really into my Ultimate Marvel.
I got you.
So at that point,
Are we in final arc for this? Has that been confirmed?
Kind of what it feels like, but
it feels like it, but they haven't confirmed that it's
because
the
there
final
could definitely be more.
Yeah, but where they're at, it's pretty end game.
It feels like it's end game, but I don't know.
Yeah, this one
could turn a corner.
It's sad, but I feel like I just don't see it talked about enough, and it should be talked about because it's so good. It's really enjoyable, really funny. The action's on point. All the characters, like the whole Yozakura family, all have unique, quirky traits to them. They're all so funny. Freaking it's just, I think it's a must read personally, and
it's pretty good at staying on point. There's not many chapters that go off story.
It's just getting it just got the manga release in United States. I have the first volume on my shelf, but it just got it. Usually, like a lot of these manga get their volumes like within like first 20-30 chapters or so. This one it took over 100, so I'm wondering what's up with that.
I think this one had the issue. I think this started before the app was a big thing, and like the show, like they have their app. They have their version of the app in Japan.
Yeah.
And I think that really helped popularize and put a different light on these.
Well, I saw this one when it came out on the app, so I guess the app wasn't blown up yet, but.
Oh, well, I mean, there could be a number of reasons, but I really enjoyed it. Like I was saying, I basically was reading Marvel at the time, and I was just reading like maybe 4 or 5 chapters every time a Shonen Sunday drop happened. Yeah. So every time those dropped, I read like 5 chapters, and I just slowly built up to the point. There's always a point where I can't stop reading.
Yeah.
And I just keep going. So I'm like, oh yeah, I only got like 80 chapters left. But more likely, like, I only got 30. But you know what I mean.
This one's just a concrete story, honestly.
Yeah,
it does everything shonen right. It has an ensemble cast. Everyone has their time on the screen. You get to know these characters. You got some badass moments.
Everyone gets some level of development so far.
You get the new guy looking in to the situation type of trope.
We're about to get backstory for eldest brother soon, I think.
We'll see, yeah.
It just feels like it's going that way.
Yeah, that one's it's just so fun. Definitely loving that one.
Okay. I don't want to miss anything.
I think
I said all the Sunday ones. So we did that one.
Well, besides like the big ones like Black Clover, Jujutsu.
Yeah, that's the big 3 that I was gonna go to next if we didn't.
My Hero.
Because then we'll get to the oddball ones that aren't like on Sunday.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's all of them.
I think that's surprising. We did that in a decent amount of time. So let's go with the newer one on the block. Not that new, but Jujutsu Kaisen. So we'll go Jujutsu, Black Clover, My Hero, and then One Piece.
Sounds good.
What about Chainsaw?
That's gonna go in the oddballs. Since it comes on Tuesdays or like has.
It is Tuesday.
Has a non-reoccurring schedule.
Right. Yeah.
So this one kind of speaks for itself. As far as the manga's going, Marty, you don't read this, right?
I have not read it. However, Facebook is a spoiling machine.
Oh, you watched the anime though, right?
Yeah, the show I watched, and I saw the movie.
Right.
Yeah.
This thing came out of nowhere for a lot of people. I mean, even in the manga sense, like it was still like it popped off so quick. Great art style, great characters, great moments, well drawn out action in the manga.
Yes. Everything looks so well drawn.
Great story, very heavily, obviously, Bleach inspired.
Yeah,
definitely
gives Bleach
ovaries to explode.
And it's done a lot, I'd say, in only 200 chapters.
Yeah.
And a 4.6 rating on here.
It is on its final arc, though, if I remember right.
Yeah,
I believe the author confirmed it's on the final arc, and it does feel kind of like they are like. It doesn't feel like the story is coming to a close, but it does feel like they're on like a final arc. Like,
wow,
there's a lot of high stakes stuff happening right now in the current arc, I would say.
The funny thing about announcing a final arc, it doesn't necessarily mean it's gonna end.
Right. It just means, okay, I'm entering the final arc, but it's gonna
looking
take
at you,
time.
Bleach.
Right.
We're in the final arc. How many
200 chapters later?
Yeah, that I don't know. We'll see how that goes. I mean, it's been in the final arc supposedly since the beginning of that, where everything gets kind of cut off in that area.
Season 2 is going to blow up. Like, it's going to blow up hard. The Shibuya arc, I read that in like 2 days because I couldn't stop. It's just that good.
So anime, yes. Manga, no for me here.
Yeah.
Black Clover.
Black Clover.
Although I'm being pressured by another force to read the manga now.
Yeah.
It is a very hated anime and manga on the internet. However, it has a 4.5 star on here.
I was gonna say I think it's come around better in recent time.
I think so as well. I think it's not as hated on. There's always going to be people that hate just because they're haters and they want to be toxic. But like in the beginning, there was just so many complaints about it. Like for the anime and even the manga. I remember when the manga was airing, I was seeing it talked about, and a lot of people were just saying, "Oh, it's just generic. Just say it's Naruto but with magic or something like But it's really come into its own. It's not. I'm just saying that's what a lot of people were saying. That's what I was seeing people compare it to. But it really came into its own, I would say. And the cast of the characters, so many great characters. You got really unique, like a lot of unique abilities. I love the personality of Asta, the main character. He's really funny. And then there's the anime, which we got a movie coming. Movie is going to be hype. Like, that's how you know you've made it as like an anime, I would say. Like, you get a movie. You get a film. Like,
I will
straight to Netflix.
Is it going straight to Netflix? I do remember seeing that. I don't think it's going straight to Netflix.
Both America and Japan, same day.
So one thing about Asta that like could be read as a negative or a positive is he honestly breaks a lot of shonen's like tropes. He's not standard protag in a lot of ways.
I would agree with that.
There's parts of him that obviously are. A good chunk is still. I mean, he's even got the spiky protag hair, but he's
kind of not the main character in a lot of the story.
Yeah,
until it's time for him to be the main character.
Right. It's like the author's cool with putting him in.
Yeah. They do a good job of sharing time.
Sharing the spotlight, yeah. Definitely.
And this is one that's one of the best rivalries.
Yes. It's not a toxic rivalry.
That's why it's one of the best. It's actually a rivalry.
It's an actual rivalry where they encourage each other in a way. Like, yeah, they're both trying to become the Wizard King, but like they motivate each other, and it's just so fun to watch them both grow together. I love it so much, and the current arc in the manga is so hype. I don't know spoilers, but it's a must read.
There's one opening in the anime. I think it was the last opening actually, where you got to see them literally grow in the opening, and that just was such an amazing thing to watch.
Oh yeah. I really enjoyed that.
I gotta get Amanda to watch it sometime.
Oh, the dub's all out, so she'll watch it. I know she likes dub more, so.
Here is one that got so popular so fast.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Off of the back
America.
two characters right here. But yeah, a lot of the American popularity in superheroes kind of helps spawn this thing.
Definitely.
And this author definitely is a big fan of American comic books. There's even, you don't see this in the anime, but there's like a manga panel in the first chapter, I believe, where it actually shows silhouettes of a lot of American heroes like Spider-Man in the black suit. And a couple other people, I can't remember, but it was a nice little nod to the American stuff that inspired him.
The author has done that with other series too. Most famously is the Chainsaw Man one, I think.
Yeah, he adds other anime stuff too.
A few cameos, which don't get to make it to animation, unfortunately.
Gosh, look how far it's come. Look how much it's got.
Yeah, this is the one that we've scrolled through and gotten the most content out of.
So much.
And I would like to shout out. Fabian has read it. I don't know if Matt read it yet, but the spin-off manga Vigilantes, I have personally deeply enjoyed.
I didn't.
Yes.
I was going to. I started it, but
it has completed its run as of now. I don't know if it has tied into the series in any way since. That would be a question for Fabian exclusively, I guess. But
no, it is not.
Okay, but it does a lot to set up multiple questions you may have had about characters, and it's a really fun read.
I actually didn't know that this author was in the game for this long.
Did he actually write Vigilantes, or was that someone else?
No, it's someone else.
Okay, just genuinely curious.
But yeah, this is. I mean, there's not much else we could say. It's very popular. It's honestly
you've probably heard of it, even if you're not an anime or manga fan, to be honest.
It is on its final arc, that's confirmed, and a lot of people are actually disliking the final arc right now, and I won't get into that, like how I feel about it specifically, but I think people need to like just wait and see how it all plays out before they really keep attacking it the way they are. I will say it's gotten where it's at right now. Some big things are about to go down. So
since he's being polite, I'm going to be impolite and say he wants people to find a bridge and do a flip.
Right, like some of the criticism is definitely justified. Even me, someone who honestly usually appreciates all work and will criticize if necessary, but usually I don't criticize things. There are some questionable moments, but it doesn't change my recommendation at all. I think this is a must read.
I will enjoy it when it gets animated.
And it will, because they're going to be apparently just animating the entire series, which is great. Season 6 right now is high as heck. Yeah, well, it's airing, but it's just so hype. Like every week I look forward to watching it. The latest episode, even as a manga reader, it's like, it's just, I look forward to weekly the anime because I know what's coming, right? But like just how they're animating this season, they're just doing a really good job with this war arc right now. I love it.
People had complaints about the latest episode's animation.
Yeah, and I saw that because Deku did one of his attacks and the manga looked really well detailed, well drawn, and the anime is just a quick look and.
You're never going to be able to beat the manga most of the time.
And that's the thing. Like they can't. It's not like they can like get down into that much detail with it. Like I don't understand the criticism like there.
You guys are right. You're never going to get that look in animated form. Really, like it's tough, and that's part of the reason that like stuff like Berserk isn't like getting great anime adaptations. But
I
will say that it wasn't done dirty.
It was. That's what I'm saying. Like they could have done something that was passable, but like
that's the problem. It's not even passable.
Instead, they went with the worst thing possible. But
we are in the darkest timeline.
My point being is that has happened already in this manga. Like the moments that were like All Might versus All for One, it looked incredible in the manga, but like. And it looked great in the show, but it's not as good as the manga.
Not as good as the manga, exactly. Yeah. You'll never get it as detailed and accurate because that's just not possible.
Yeah,
and people just need to accept that. Like,
I feel like it's just a lot of casual manga readers that like really have that opinion. Like you get used to
elite manga readers.
No, but I'm not trying to sound elitist or anything, but I'm just saying the more experience you have reading this stuff, you kind of just get used to knowing that there's a difference between how an anime is going to portray a manga than the manga itself. Like it's not. Yeah. You're not going to get You're not going to get the best like page to
you gotta take concessions.
Play out every time.
Yeah, agreed.
And then there's war crimes like Promised Neverland.
We won't get into that.
There's a difference between animation and completely slaughtering the events of a manga.
Pretending they don't exist. Oh,
are we?
One of the greatest peaks of fiction I've ever read in my life. Go read it. If you don't read it, you're an idiot. All right, moving on. No, I'm just kidding.
Word.
One Piece. Like what can we say about this that like it hasn't
people
been
haven't already said somewhere? I mean,
like this is one of the greatest.
It's long. It's good.
It's long.
I think it'd be better for us since like this is going to be an early episode for us. So I mean, I'm counting that we have a lot of episodes by the time we're in a year.
We're gonna have one called the One Piece episode eventually.
So how about we say how we got into One Piece? Because you guys can go first. Because
you heard the One Piece rap? I have.
I'm late to the party. I saw that when I was a kid, but I did not hitch on to the ride.
Well, there you go.
Yeah. So I mean, I remember watching the first episode when it aired on. I'm not sure if it was Toonami or if it was just 4Kids. Pretty sure it was Toonami.
Kids.
Well, 4Kids did the dub, but I'm pretty sure it aired on Cartoon Network first, but I'm not 100%. I just remember watching the first episode and
I could swear it aired on 4Kids first, but I don't know.
No, I remember being on Toonami, honestly. But I could be wrong. Don't quote me on it. But that's where I first saw it.
It definitely aired on both.
I'm gonna quote you on it. I'm putting it on the internet, and if you're wrong,
there will be hell to pay. Oh, I can't wait.
You're done.
No,
if you're wrong. Your opinion's invalid. Everything you say doesn't matter anymore.
Hell yeah.
You're out of the podcast.
No, but so the first episode aired, and I was a kid, right? So like maybe like 9 or 10 years old. I was a kid. I loved it. I was like, oh, this is great. Can't wait for the next episode. And by the time I kept watching it weekly, and by the time they got to the like Barati arc when they first meet Sanji,
I
that was when and then leading into Arlong. And once I saw the Arlong arc, and this is probably everyone's opinion, I knew right then. I'm like, oh, this is one of the greatest things I've ever watched.
I was younger when I saw it then, because I did see it when it came out, and we have a bit of an age gap.
Yeah, but I'm older. Yeah, but
I'm old, you skay.
I'm old, you skay.
But I remember just like I thought it was okay until we got to Barati. Then Barati, I was like, all right, I'm here for this. Right. I'm enjoying this.
Barati was like, I feel like the point where it's not the make or break for a lot of people.
And then you lost me at the Chopper's arc. Remember, I'm a very young child.
Right, you're young.
I do not care about emotions. I'm a sociopath.
Oh, I loved Chopper's arc, but that's a story.
Yeah, he was a wee lad.
Right.
You're not fighting? You lost me.
But on top of the anime, like I remember when I was watching it, the dub eventually changed. Once they got the Skypiea, Funimation took over the dub, and it really like it threw me off pretty hard. I was still a kid.
Skypiea.
No, so I stopped after that though, because I got older, and I ended up switching to the sub version, the Japanese version. I mean, with subtitles, and I was watching it online. Obviously, that's just the only way we had access to it. Right, and I remember starting over and loving it, and then I eventually found out about manga, and I caught up with the manga. By the time I caught up on the manga for One Piece, I think they were at just like almost done with Marineford. So I got into the manga pretty late. I mean, obviously it's so far now, but it back then it was like 400 or 500 chapters or something. So
rookie number,
right? And also that 4Kids rap is amazing. Like, if there's anything to come out of that 4Kids dub that you could appreciate, it's that. Like, it was just so catchy.
I did think it was weird how Smoker's mouth was just always open.
Oh, the censorship, man. That was wild. But yeah, I don't want to drag it out too much longer for that, but that was my experiences with it. I love One Piece.
So
good.
For me, I dropped it as a child a little. I think I finished Chopper's arc at least, but then I dropped it for a while, and we went back and rediscovered it eventually in like middle school, I think. We just picked up where we left off on our illegal streaming sites, which actually don't exist anymore, sadly.
Oh, so many got taken down. Yeah, we used to go to the same places together all the time.
Yep. And we caught back up, and then we eventually just started reading the manga for a while. And the big thing for me was I caught back up on the One Piece manga, reading 300 chapters. I forget. It was Doflamingo to present, if that was words mean anything to people.
It's like 300 to 400, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah. And that was fun. So I'm up to date on the manga. I'm not gonna catch up on the anime though. That ain't about me.
I still remember like me and you discussing One Piece, Bleach, and Naruto every week. I remember how hyped we were when they first announced the time skip, because Oda announced like a 4-week.
He took a break, right? A big break.
He took a 4-week, like almost a month, basically a month-long break, and back then, like that. And he's
never taken a true break since.
Yeah, for real. Like, poor guy deserves such a break. But that was just some nice nostalgia I like to throw out, that we used to read the big three, and those were the glory days, man. It was just so much fun. But yeah, Fabian, your go. How
that wasn't you? That was all before his anime awakening.
I was a bit late to the party. So I mean, I never had anything against anime. Hell, I didn't even know what classified as anime for a long time. I just thought of it all as cartoons. It was like Dragon Ball Z. Didn't know it was an anime for a real long time.
Yeah.
So I guess a little background for me is like kind of like in the era that I would have been getting into all the stuff that you guys were already into it.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't really have I mean, I'll just put it bluntly. I didn't have friends, like,
sure.
And the only people that I really like kind of associated with were like people that were on the football team. So I kind of just was into whatever they were into. We were just hanging out, and I mean, I'm a nerd at heart. Like, I've always been a nerd at heart. I've loved all these things for a real long time. It just kind of took me a while to accept it in myself, I guess. But eventually, I was done with like the heavy training regimen of everything, and preparing every year for football and whatnot. Not that I couldn't have been watching anime back then, but I had more time to explore freely into branching things off. I also was done with school, so
yeah, you just had more free time.
It really was just a matter of freeing up that time to do other things that I'd never had before. Like, one of the first things I did when I was done with school was beat all the Kingdom Hearts games, because I never could up until that point. Like, I didn't have work at the time, so I'd play through all of them all the way to Dream Drop Distance.
Blessed.
And I loved it. It was a fantastic thing. But I digress. Originally, how I was getting into One Piece, because I knew of its existence, but I just knew that it was an incredibly long show, just like everybody else you ever heard of. Oh, it's too long. I'm not gonna mess with it. Why would I bother? It doesn't matter. I could watch DBZ 3 times by the time I watched this once. Like, that type of mentality. But me being the fan of storytelling in general, like just from everything that I've ever loved growing up, I watched Yu Yu Hakusho because that was a show that I never watched, never got to finish when it was airing on Adult Swim or Toonami or wherever it was.
Yeah, Toonami.
So
yeah.
I finally finished
Originally Adult Swim.
I finally finished it, and so I was like, man, I really want to, like, I love DBZ games, so Is there a game where I could play as Yusuke? So I Googled it, and J-Star's Victory versus Plus. Yeah. I was like, okay, I can play as Goku and Yusuke. This would be dope.
Fantastic.
And there's that Naruto guy. I know who that is. Never seen Naruto at that point either. And then I boot that game up. I go to GameStop and I go get it. And then I'm just scrolling through the roster and I was like, Jesus, who are these people? And Luffy ends up on one of the enemy teams, right? And I'm like, cool, I'm gonna beat him up. I'm gonna use the spirit gun, and Goku use the spirit bomb. It'll be great. Wombo combo. And this dude beats me up so viciously with his finisher that I'd never seen before, and it was the giant elephant Gatling finisher from the end of the Fishman Island arc.
Yep.
Where he does that to what was that guy's name? The main fish.
Hody Jones or something.
Yeah, that's it.
People hate on that arc, whatever they like it. But that's not the point.
Yeah, no.
I saw that and I was like, I kind of want to see what that's about.
I desire the knowledge.
I ended up asking Bowler about it, and I was like, how would I watch this, or like, what would you recommend I like do? Or it's like, maybe I should just. I even thought about just buying because it's an intimidating amount of episodes, and I thought about buying a set of the DVDs one at a time, and then I finish one, I buy the next one, no rush.
This summer,
this dude bought the 3 box sets of the show
on Amazon.
And what was that? The first 300 episodes?
Yeah.
Or more?
It like ends like right where Ennie's lobby ends.
So at that point, he bought them, and I was like, all right, let's do it. So we booked a vacation together because we worked at the same job at the time, and we binged at least like the first, I think, 100 episodes that like 3 days. In 3 days, we finished all those, and I was hooked, like, even just from the beginning. Like, I loved the concept. I loved everything. I didn't have to get too far into the show to really understand the appeal. I know a lot of people say you got to get to, like, there were certain levels in the show where I was like, okay, I like this. All right, I like that. Love that. And then there were some moments where I, like, there's one in particular, and I'll say it in a second, but there was one in particular I was like, okay, this show is goated. And I'm not saying that in the sense, like, you know how some people just throw that out and they're like, oh, this is the GOAT. This is one of the best things ever. No. This moment happened, and I was like, GOAT. Greatest of all time. No, nothing else. Like,
the nothing ever happened scene?
Yeah, exactly. Yep. So
such a good scene, man.
And I love the tone switch of that whole situation because it was so unexpected. But to put it more bluntly, I'll say that in a second. But me and this man right here watched all of the pre-time skip and then a little bit into Fishman Island together in its entirety. So then once I got caught up with Dressrosa, or I did all the New World stuff on my own. So I finished all of Fishman Island, finished all of Punk Hazard, Dressrosa, and is the last arc. So literally the last episode of Dressrosa premiered the day that I caught up with One Piece.
Oh, okay.
So the next week was the filler stuff for that movie.
Oh, Gold.
I think it was Gold.
Yeah.
And since then, I've been watching it weekly. It's been pretty crazy. And then I picked up the manga after that, and I had to make sure that I kept up with it. It was a lot of great content. We're going to do a whole episode about
we'll get more
One Piece in general, and then we'll highlight the
one.
You
like how One Piece, the longest manga anime, is having the longest segment.
Yeah,
it had to be done that way.
We had to do it that way. It wasn't even like coincidence.
It's just there's not like we could all sit here and be like, One Piece is great. I like where the manga's going, but that's not that interesting.
No,
that's not. It's not like it's a fledgling series.
This is a long, ongoing thing that deserves. There's history to the story, and then there's history to the people that got.
There's plenty of people who have been born since the series has been going and have discovered it since.
There's never gonna be anything like this ever again.
Never again. If there is, we'll
what would you compare it to? Like Berserk, I guess.
No, not even close. Like, I mean, it could be things could be ongoing for a long time, right? And they could take a bunch of hiatuses, and you'll barely have any content. Oda doesn't take that long of a break. He takes his breaks, but he spreads them out, and he produces work pretty consistently. So, and the chapter count proves it. This started in the 90s, going into the 2000s, and it's at that. Berserk started in the 80s, and we're at 2022, and I mean, rest in peace to the author, but that's kind of what happens. I mean, you look at even Hunter x Hunter, it's only got how many chapters?
Yeah, but the circumstances there are different. But
yeah,
I get what you're saying.
There's reasons for those things.
No, I know. It's just like, what are you supposed to compare One Piece to?
Nothing.
That's just what I was trying to say.
Yeah.
Because the only other thing that's existed that long continuously, I guess Naruto kind of.
Yeah,
Naruto.
Because you could say Naruto into Shippuden, into Boruto.
Yeah, but yeah, I would agree.
Yeah.
There's a whole manga about Boruto's dad. There sure is. There's 2.
Oh Lord.
Classic me.
Yeah, One Piece. I think we spent enough time on One Piece, but
let's move on.
Is the big one. Why don't we just talked about Boruto? So I think I'm the only one that's caught up with this.
Yeah, I think
we already know.
I'm reading the spinoff, which actually I guess we didn't talk about that at all.
We'll ball that into this. So we got Boruto, and then the 2 spin-offs. One has been animated in the Boruto anime already, was a light novel.
Yeah.
So that would be this one.
Yeah. That's not the one I was talking about, but yeah.
And then Sasuke's story. This was also a light novel. It looks like they're going to be doing this a lot more, where they make the light novels into the short little one-shot mangas.
I like that personally. I'm excited to read these ones. I'm personally waiting until they're done, and I'll just binge them because I don't expect them to be very long. But I'm wrong. I mean, if I'm wrong, great, but I don't expect them to be long.
There's been a lot of action pieces, which makes stuff longer, so we'll see.
So Boruto. Bowler and I have been watching Boruto the anime since episode 1
drop, baby.
And I mean, he's a lot more tolerant. I'm tolerant, but he's more tolerant than I am. But I will say that the manga content on its own is fantastic. Now, the confusing part is that the manga came out came out before the show, but it's monthly, or came out after the show. It came out after the movie. See, I'm already confusing you people.
Yeah, like Naruto's a hit.
So the beginning of the manga adapts the movie, but the show starts before the movie. But the stuff before the movie adaptation in the show is canon, even though there's no manga material for it.
Yeah.
So there is stuff in this show that is considered anime canon that the manga later references as something that actually happened.
Yep.
Oh, that's bad.
An arc will happen in the anime, and it seems kind of fillerish, right? And then you get to the chapters in the manga, and they'll make some reference of, remember that field trip we went to in the mist and whatever? Oh,
right. Yeah. It's like, that's canon. Yeah.
Oh, I guess that happened, and it's just kind of like, it's cool, but at the same time, it's kind of weird because then you're telling me that I gotta watch 270 something episodes to get to this 75 chapters of content.
Right. And that is the issue. There is a big issue with the filler, but it's something I've said before, and I think Boruto, the anime at least, it's called Boruto Next Generations for a reason. It's for the kids that are growing up in Japan now that didn't get Naruto, right? We got Naruto when we grew up, Now for the kids, it's their turn. They get Boruto, and that's how.
Do they have? Some reference here. I haven't watched or read the Boruto, but I've seen all of Naruto, and I've read all of Naruto. But I wanted to ask, since you two have, obviously, do they have anything comparable to the Zabuza arc? Because Zabuza arc is special to me. I think it's the best arc in the whole series.
I mean, kinda, but not like. I would say they do, but not to the extent.
Nothing as
impactful as the Zabuza arc.
Okay. That's what I was gonna say. Nothing has been on that level.
No, I was just genuinely curious because that is still one of my singular favorite arcs in all that.
Yeah, and for a very good reason. Very like it was a perfect fit for the beginning of that series. But yeah, the Boruto. I mean, there's not much else we could say. Like I don't hate it at all. I agree that
it's a weird anomaly.
The filler is an issue, but again, I look at it a different way than
as far as its current state. The most recent chapters I've been a defender of the manga, at least. I thought the manga has been great. However, some of the most recent chapters have kind of been like, where is this going? Like, how is this connecting? What does this matter? Like, come on, do something.
Do something.
It's a monthly release, so I'm gonna feel that way sometimes.
Yeah.
Especially when they're building up the next part of it. But people have been saying that this time skip is going to happen soon.
Yeah, and well,
who knows when that's going to happen?
Wasn't the time skip like not necessarily spoiled, but at least like teased at the very beginning of it?
Yep, beginning of the manga and the first episode of Boruto.
Yeah,
it literally starts where Boruto is older, so
that's like the big payoff, right? Like that's what we're waiting.
That's what we're waiting for, yeah. And I guess that was a good way to start it though, because it gives you something to look forward to. But
we will get here.
From how they're dragging it in certain ways, I guess it's like you just don't know where it's going. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
I got to catch back up on the manga. I was also enjoying it. So
the next big one.
Oh, Dragon Ball Super.
But yeah, but as far as Boruto, like the whole thing is just hopefully we get something.
You keep going. I got it.
Okay. Dragon Ball Super. Marty hasn't read it. He knows only a little bit of it, and you are behind an arc.
Yeah, the Moro arc is the last one I read.
Okay, so for the people that have not read this, it's kind of different from the anime itself. A couple events have been moved around. A couple of things that happen within those arcs has been handled differently, such as like Vegeta getting the Super Saiyan God red form during the Goku Black arc, which was pretty hype. And then a couple other like really random things that they throw in there that make it more interesting. So, in my opinion, the Goku Black arc is handled a lot better in this manga than it is in the anime. Same thing as the tournament before the Tournament of Power. However, the Tournament of Power in the anime, I feel like, is better than the manga.
I also agree. There's so many more hype moments, and I think part of that too is also the fact that how much that anime blew up, and like it was breaking Crunchyroll every week. So like there was just so much.
It was an event. It couldn't have been framed any better. Like we were watching that every week, like ready to see the next
thing. Like trying to get on the site before everyone else so we could watch it. Like it was such a big deal. I agree though, and I think the writing in the manga is very well done for what Dragon Ball. Like obviously, most people don't watch Dragon Ball for the writing, but I think in this case it's a little different. Like it feels like it's more it's more thought out. So I like that about the manga for Dragon Ball Super a lot.
Yeah. As far as the arcs that take place after the Broly arc, the Broly movie, the Moro arc, and then the Granola arc.
Mm-hmm.
The Moro arc I thought was really cool. I just wasn't a big fan of the way it ended. Not as much as some people, but I thought it was all right. The Granola arc was cool. I liked how it ended more than the arc itself, though.
Did Goku kill the Krampus and save Christmas?
Word. It's been a spoiler all over the internet, so I'll just say it. This is on hiatus. It's coming back, I think, later this month and the month after that. Goku and Vegeta are at their max abilities, freshly healed, and Frieza shows up out of nowhere and absolutely decimates both of them in less than 5 seconds, and shows off he's been training in some hyperbolic time chamber type thing for 10 years and has achieved a new form called Frieza Black.
And when you told me that, because I stopped reading after Moro because I was not a fan of how that arc ended, and I just lost interest after that. But after you told me that, I re-sparked my love for Dragon Ball in a way, because I love Frieza so much. He's my favorite Dragon Ball villain personally. So I'm hyped to get back into the manga to read that.
It'd be cool if they did something with my favorite villain.
No. I'm just kidding.
I got Cell Max.
You mean Biocell?
Is it
Cell? He's cool.
No, his name is Max, Cell Max, or whatever his name was. But to me, they bio-brolyed him.
They did.
That was the thing that made Cell great, was his intellect and the way he he was a different type of monster each time he evolved.
He was just a mindless monster.
The first one, he was just kind of like a stalking, like a praying mantis type of thing. And then he got a little more cocky, and then he was completely...
You lost me in the second form, but you pulled me back in on the third form.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that, him being so, like... He had all the characteristics of all the DNA that he had. Like, he was cocky, he was confident.
They picked the worst.
He was intelligent. So, I feel like that was wasted with Cell Max. That's really my only major complaint about that movie.
I loved that movie, but yeah, that would be my one big complaint.
Yeah. I feel like the movie was all right for me. It's okay for me personally, because I was never that big of a fan of Gohan. I didn't get to see those moments on TV when I was a kid. Most of it I saw.
The movie wasn't for Gohan.
Nah, it's kind of advertised.
For a lot of people, it was
Piccolo and Gohan.
Yeah. I was gonna say the movie was for Piccolo. And
it turned out to be a Piccolo movie, but they highly advertised it to be a Gohan redemption thing.
There's some Gohan payoff. You'll enjoy Gohan stance.
Yeah.
Okay. Now we get into some of the extras that are probably going to be some of the biggest hits that we will ever see. So I'll go with one of the obvious ones that have been ongoing for a long time.
One Punch Man.
172 chapters, man.
That's a lot, yeah.
It just started a new arc.
I'm very much looking forward to where the manga's going right now.
That started a new arc. So the big mark, for those of you that don't know, the way that One Punch Man was created was the author started a webcomic that had awful art, but it had a great story, and it was a lot of fun. So that came to the attention of this artist, and the artist and him did a collaboration where they did a more expanded version of One Punch Man that later became the anime. And it's
a little more complicated than that too, I believe, because I believe that this particular artist he admired. This was an artist that Juan personally admired.
Oh, Yusuke Verada. This man is a legend, honestly. His art is probably some of the best art I've ever seen in my life. And whenever he does I
know that one shot.
Which one?
Science
was
good one shot.
Yeah. I need to read that one
on the app.
Yeah, I want to read that one. But yeah, I love his art, and I read a lot of the One Punch Man manga, but
it just keeps going.
I'm not caught up, unfortunately. But I actually own
I have a few.
I own 14 volumes, so it gets to it gets into the season 2 material basically. But yeah, this one's more because you guys are caught up, so you guys I know are loving it. You kept recommending it to me.
It's great. I mean, I really like how they handled how the final arc concluded. or not the final arc, the most recent arc that finished, how it concluded.
Yeah, that was a big. I was seeing a lot of spoilers on the internet, unfortunately, but not a big deal on that department. I don't really care too much about when I see One Punch Man spoilers. Just makes me more excited to read it, honestly. And also, one's coming out with a new manga soon too.
Is he?
Yeah, forget what it's called.
The other manga one is famous for is a little ditty called Mob Psycho 100.
Yeah, yep. Season 3 is currently airing, and it's
this
amazing.
Man, like, he can't draw, but he can make stories like you wouldn't believe.
Yes, sir.
Stories and characters, like he does a great
And the big
job.
thing about One Punch Man, if like it's something you've heard of and are wondering if I'd like it, is it's a huge subversion of expectations. That's a lot of what it's about, mixed with comedy and action. It's a good time.
Yeah. Are we moving on to another GOAT?
I think this is one that
you may have heard
really surprised a lot of people.
Yeah.
I think
anyone who wasn't reading it, sure.
No, I meant like with us, like just jumping on it. Like I think we all jumped on it around the same time.
I've been reading this since.
Yeah, when it dropped on the app, Marty and I jumped on it right away. It only had 15 chapters at the time.
I think I started reading it when it had 20.
Yeah, you weren't that far behind, but I remember I just remember reading like the first 5.
It's bi-weekly, right?
Yeah, I think it's every 2 weeks. Sometimes it's supposed to be, but lately I think it's
we haven't been getting as much lately.
Different
like
schedule,
even this last release was just a art.
I mean, it's got such a unique premise.
Although we are in a main story arc again, which technically we weren't last time, I guess.
A pretty high stakes one too, I would say. But yeah, the anime is amazing. I'm in love with it. It's great.
Not a bad thing to say about it.
It's and like
the anime anyway.
I would say
the manga really. The only complaint would be like the hiatuses, but I mean that's fine.
Yeah, release schedule is obviously I would want it to be weekly, but like the fact that it is bi-weekly is also good because you could just tell that it probably just gives them more time to make the quality that much better. The art for the manga is amazing. Like I love it. How do you guys feel about the manga?
It's great.
I have no complaints. It really blew me away when I first started reading it.
Mm-hmm.
Again, even when I started reading this was kind of a little bit outside of my. This is where I started inching a little bit out with my manga taste, because obviously there's still action in this, but it's definitely more like got like family and comedy aspects to it. It's not like supernatural abilities or anything. It was based in a little bit more in reality,
right?
And it's got like the socio-political stuff too in the background.
I said it's grounded, but then I thought about it, and Yor exists as a character.
Yeah, but I ended up really, really enjoying it. I really hold it to a high, not high standard. What am I trying to say? In high regard. I really, really enjoy this. It's definitely one that I would recommend to anybody.
It very
anywhere.
Technically has a main plot. Not really. It's more episodic almost. But
which is fine.
We're getting it. We've had at least 2 true story arcs.
Yeah, there's just like a main. It's kind of like Golden Kamuy in the sense that there's a main like goal for the story as a whole, but it goes into different directions and stuff, which is one of the things I really like about it. And
this has no clear ending in sight, obviously. I mean, this could run until we're dead.
It's kind of like just like the One Piece model, where like you obviously have the big goal, but a lot of other stuff is happening.
Yeah,
we might see the characters even grow up. Who knows? Kind of doubt it, just given the nature of it.
Yeah, I'm not sure if we'll see that, but there could be like a time skip, and we could see them.
Yeah, but that kind of defeats the whole purpose of the overarching story.
I mean, at the end, but yeah, no, I don't think they'll get older in the main story.
Oh, what's this little ditty?
Oh, so we're moving on to another.
Man, I wonder if this would get an anime announcement. That'd be weird.
It already got one.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kaiju number 8.
I remember we all just decided to read this when it dropped on the app.
I was originally disappointed by this. I didn't tell you guys about that.
Oh, okay. I loved it since the first chapter.
There's a very specific reason because of the first chapter, actually. I was disappointed because I liked the idea of exploring the cleanup crew.
Oh yeah, you have said that.
So I was like, I am sad now. I still enjoyed it. Don't get me wrong. I still love it. Great.
Go pick up the damage control comic.
But it was not what you thought. What I thought it was going to be. What you were implying to me in the very first chapter until you did your thing.
Well, I mean, you go by the cover. What was he going to do?
Yeah,
be a monster and clean.
We don't know that would be. How would we know that would be anyone?
Plus,
it's just a monster.
Kafka starts out basically saying that he wanted to be.
He wanted to be on the defense.
He wanted to be on the defense force. So
but he couldn't cut it. So he's like, "Well, this is how I help out. I clean."
Right, but it just being as we've seen so many anime and read so many things. I knew right away when I was reading it that he was going to end up on that defense force.
I just want my expectations to be subverted. That's all.
Never.
That's all I want.
This one.
The harder the left turn is for a show, the better Marty is.
Yes.
Right.
This looks like a traditional
as long as it makes sense. As long as you're not doing it.
It's actually about chess.
It's just like.
That's funny.
When you know enough about writing and storytelling, stuff gets more predictable. So,
yeah, I don't mind that comfort though.
I don't either.
Knowing.
I just love being surprised. It makes me so happy.
Oh, that's great too. And I just like a mix. Like I like the constant, like this. You're used to this. You're used to this. Surprise.
Right. And that's happened in the story, I would say. So.
Well. So, for me though, I just take a quick second to say that like when they successfully surprised me with a subversion in some way, and it pleased me. Just imagine like the Food Wars scenes when they're just enjoying a meal, it's just like
Oh man, we'll maybe next time we'll talk about the mangas that have ended since we've started reading on the app. Maybe.
Yeah, we can do that.
Because there's a couple that have ended that we could talk about.
Yeah, sure.
But Kaiju number 8, highly recommend. 100%. Since day one, the three of us were consuming that like it
is a bi-weekly on. What day does it come out? Wednesday, I think. Thursdays.
And then this little baby right here.
Oh, it's
may have heard of it.
All the rage right now. For good.
We may have talked about a little guy called Fujimoto once or twice.
Yeah, you guys mentioned him in the beginning.
We're going to go to his little profile here.
Oh, I love his little profile picture there.
He has yet to successfully levitate, as far as I know. He's still trying.
Got a lot of good one shots.
I need to go find these. I didn't know that they were this way.
Wow, they're from 2014 too. Interesting. So when he first started out, basically.
Yeah.
Fire Punch came out.
We talked about Fire Punch. That was really, really good. These one shots, if you guys have not read them, I know you guys have, but just anyone that might watch, really,
look back
really good stuff.
In particular.
Yeah,
I like both of them.
Yeah, they're both good.
I like them.
What's the movie one called? I can't remember.
This one?
Is that it?
Yeah.
When they watch the movies, yeah.
The other one is so short that I don't think it's on here.
Oh, the YouTube music one.
Yeah. But anyways, we're looking at his little career here.
So Chainsaw Man.
A lot of stuff, but
God knows when this will end, and we don't. God knows what will happen in it. We don't.
You said it's going to be 3 parts, right? That's what he wants.
I don't know if he said it's going to be 2 parts. We just know we're in part 2.
3. I thought he said 3.
Did he?
Did he?
I hope so. I don't
remember. 3 parts would be good. That'll be a good if he's gonna do maybe 100
that's so different. He's so experimental with his panels and his art.
So I remember the app had just come out, right? And this was one of the first titles that you could scroll by to see what all the series that they had. I was like, I literally looked at that and I was like, that's stupid.
I mean, that's a fair reaction.
I think that's the general normal reaction to it. The first time you see it, wow, that's so dumb.
Yeah, and then I don't think anyone really said that it was like that, like great or anything yet. I just remember like people saying, "Oh yeah, I've heard good things about Chainsaw Man." I heard good things about Chainsaw Man. That For Neverworld guy I used to watch on YouTube.
Oh, I remember him.
Yeah. He made too many videos for me, so I couldn't keep up. But he name dropped it a few times, along with a lot of other series. He was another one that I'll give credit to. He wanted to read more on it, but then I started hearing about this, and then I was like, yeah, it's pretty short. Let's do it. And I think it was like on winter break, like 2 years ago or something.
It's a hilariously fast read, just because.
Yeah, it's really.
It is
really
a fast read. Yeah,
I think there were only like 5 chapters left before it was going to end when I caught up. Mm-hmm. Me and Bowler read it around the same time. I think it was almost the same day.
I read it. When my grandma passed away. I binged it like that week. So it's been about 2 years or something like that now.
It really, really blew my expectations out of the water. Like
Same.
It was not anything to mess with, nothing to mess around with. And my only thing is like now that it has an anime, I feel like people just don't appreciate it. Because I feel like a lot of people view it on the surface level because they're all just like, oh, Denji is just down bad and he's like all he wants is to fondle people and get that stuff. But like you gotta look beyond the surface level with these things. You gotta look at the very first episode presents to you the type of life this kid has had.
Yeah.
And this life is really messed up.
Calling it a life is being generous.
Yeah. He barely has lived a life. So him wanting these things is like him being like the bare bones human being that exists. Like he's still a teenager, so him getting to this level and that being his desires is just because he's basically only going off of instinct.
Right.
He's that bare boned of a human being that he is almost like the dog that he makes himself out to be for what's her face? I forget her name.
Makima.
Yeah. He suits that very. It's a subtle thing that you got to read between the lines. It's not that it's like I feel like it's obvious to us, but it's not obvious to like the general audience. Like when you're just looking at just something slashing everything and looking really cool doing it.
You'll get to see it more in his work if you pay attention. But Fujimoto also is a huge lover of film, which we've talked about a little bit.
Right, yeah.
And there's just infinite references and if you've seen there's some memes of it, there's probably some videos, I haven't seen any, of people like breaking down the opening for the show right now, where there's just insane amount of references in just the opening.
Yeah, that's something the anime studio did on purpose too, because of his love for film. But yeah, this one it blew my expectations away too. Like I remember feeling honestly the same as Fabian was saying. I was like, Chainsaw Man, this looks silly, but it was getting a lot of hype. Marty, you were recommending it to me all the time. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna read it. It's on my list. And then once I started,
so much.
By the time I got to where they're at now in the anime, the Katana Man arc, that's when I was personally hooked and I was all in and I couldn't stop.
Yeah, the internet's freaking out right now.
Specifically,
that's basically where the show starts, or like where the manga really gets going.
That's when things start to kick off and start going into gear. We've met everyone, and now we go.
Yeah, like when they met the guy, the strongest devil hunter dude, the dude with the stitches on his name.
Yeah, Kishibe.
I can't wait to see him in the anime next week.
I love Kishibe.
It's gonna be so good, man. Oh, I can't wait.
He's one of my favorites.
Yeah, great character. But overall, I mean, I would say we all recommend this highly. It's a must read. Part 2 is currently ongoing, and Part 2 is.
I have no idea what's that. I'm not trying to predict Fujimoto. I'm not big brain enough.
This first arc of Part 2 was so well done, And
so much has already happened for as few chapters as it has.
Yeah, and
I've
we
seen a
can
lot
get
of
in.
people complaining that it's not Denji, that Denji's not in it enough.
Well, that's tough because I really like this new character, and I think Denji's, from what they're doing, not to get too into spoilers, but I think he's gonna be directed back into the spotlight soon.
We'll see. Latest chapter he is, I guess, no matter what.
I don't think the War Devil chick will be the main focus.
We're gonna see what happens in the latest chapter. It's gonna be interesting for current manga.
My man's got a date. No, but yeah, I love Chainsaw Man. I'm just glad that it's getting the treatment it deserves. Like, Mappa never misses. Like, obviously there's the meme that they just take over every anime, but like at this point, I would say, like, even if it is a joke, like, I wouldn't care
glad
if
they
they
don't let
actually
the animators go home.
They're the new Madhouse.
They're definitely the new Madhouse, and they've worked with Madhouse a lot too, ironically. But this is just something special, man. And every time Mappa gets an anime now, I just look forward to it even more.
I hope they do something like really like out there next, like this.
If Mappa gets down to Dan, I will cry tears of joy. This, okay, like I'm a huge fan of this manga, to put it lightly. Every Monday, this manga drops every Monday, and I have an office job, but every Monday I make it make sure that I drop anything I'm doing to read the new chapter, because it is so well done. I could ramble on for hours about this manga. So the premise of it, real quick, is it's about Ken Takakura and Momo Ayase. So Momo, they made each other at school, and Momo believes in the supernatural, like ghosts, demons, all that stuff, and Takakura doesn't. He believes in aliens, though, and Momo does not. So in the first chapter, there's like rumors about, like, I believe it was a tunnel or something, of a ghost resides in this tunnel. Let's go prove this theory. Let's go prove this wrong. And that's how it like kicks off this entire story. And in this cover, look at this beautiful art. But in the first chapter alone, I don't know if I should maybe put some spoiler talk real quick. But the main character, the boy, gets possessed by the ghost, and Momo gets abducted by aliens. And while she's being abducted, she gains psychic abilities. So she's able to use like telekinesis. I think that's all it comes down to, those telekinesis. Maybe I'm wrong, Fabian. I don't know.
I think that's pretty much her extent, and she improves upon it. But
she improves in the story, but that's the main premise of it. And it sounds so wacky, but it's just so well done. This author really knows how to like make this interesting.
He was Fujimoto's assistant, so.
Was he? Okay.
That was the relation. I knew there was a relation to Fujimoto for it, but I didn't know what it was.
Right, yeah. His art is so well done. Oh my! It's like because it follows like aliens and supernatural. It's a really dark story. It's actually only on the Viz Media website because it's very mature. There's like not like full like nudity in it, but there's like a lot. There's a lot of nudity moments and like swearing and stuff, but. If you can like get past the like that part of it, and you have to go on the website to read it, is what I'm trying to get at. It's hard to think right now. I'm getting tired.
That's why I'm not good at.
Yeah, and that it's probably the same for a lot of people, because a lot of people like to just the convenience of the app, and I get that. But for this manga's case, it's 100% worth jumping on the website and reading it. I look forward to it every week. I'm crossing my fingers it gets an anime announcement at Jump Fest this year. There's a lot of good comedy in it too. The characters are well done. I know one of the really nice things about this is the fact that Momo is the like I would say she is the main character of it. Like they're both main characters, but I'd argue she's the main character, and she is great. Like she's really funny. On top of that, there's action, of course, and there's comedy, but there's also romance. So, and as a huge fan of romance, that also makes me love the manga even more. And I wish more people were talking about it, but look, because it's on the website, I think that's why it's not like blowing up as much as I feel like it should. And also the story, like the synopsis of it is kind of, like what aliens and ghosts like. Oh, actually, one more thing I forgot to mention that might get more people into this is the male character ends up losing his balls. The aliens, or was it the aliens? I forget if it was the aliens or the ghost.
It was the aliens and the ghosts.
Yeah, they steal his balls. So the story is actually him and Momo searching for his balls. And I
wonder what inspired that.
This author must have it must have been like Attack on Titan's author, where he was just in a bar and he was like, you know what, this will be a crazy story, I'm gonna do it. Like I feel like that's what Dan to Dan became, but it's so good. How do you feel about it, Fabian?
I'm not saying I dislike it, but you like it, like, so I actually love it. I love the manga, but you take my love and like dwarf it. Like you're a frost giant and I'm just Gimli from Lord of the Rings. Like
I'm mildly surprised he hasn't like come over and just like shoved it in my face one day, so I have to read it.
Oh, I'm gonna be buying the physical volumes and giving it to you if that's what it takes.
He's gonna read them to you at night before.
How do you do that to Fabian with Claymore? I'm just gonna deck him with the collection one time.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, if that's how it worked, you just threw the book at someone's head and you got all that information. No, but yeah, I really, really enjoy the manga, Marty. You definitely need to read it. Anyone watching this needs to read it. It's very unique.
I put it up there with Fire Punch. Probably just gonna enjoy it a lot.
Yeah, there'd be a good back-to-back binge, honestly.
It's right up there with that. I got reading book.
It's just crazy. We've gone through so much content here with what they have, and you get, if you desire it as much as you want, all this for $2 a month.
$2. That's it. It's I almost feel bad sometimes that's all I'm paying. Like for this site. No, I don't actually like.
Do you take tips?
Yeah, like come on, like it's crazy that they give us.
You'll find the artist's Patreon.
You got an OnlyFans, Fujimoto?
But yeah, man, that it's definitely up there. It is sure to get an anime adaptation.
Definitely,
no doubt about it.
There was a rumor. One of the people on Twitter that is known to like post about leaks, and they're usually posted that it's getting one. So okay. I'm over the moon about that.
Funnily enough, like most of the series we might have talked bad about probably got canceled recently.
Yeah, it's kind of weird because there were series that we could really just say like no, that recently got axed. It was Super Smartphone and Aliens Arena.
Yeah,
both had very cool premises that they just failed to capitalize on. There was even a moment in Aliens Arena that I literally was like, okay, here we go. That literally got me hyped.
I remember you saying that.
This is next. This is and they didn't capitalize on it. It just kept going in the same.
The smartphone one, unfortunately, I think it might have died to its name.
Its name was not good. It should have kept.
Yeah,
the
it
Japanese
needed a better title.
That was.
I tried it because I read like the 4 chapters and I just for some reason I couldn't get into it. I don't know what it was, but
it lost me after the first arc. Unfortunately, like after
there's a point where like they start going through wars with
after we finish everything with Moira.
you guys aren't going to read it. So eventually, like, this kid that's not very smart gets one of these smartphones.
That would be Moira.
Yeah, so I forget his name. So eventually, this kid ends up giving up the phone, and then it later is assassinated or killed.
I was hoping, like, after that, I thought it would get real interesting, but it did not.
Exactly.
Wait, the main character?
No, side character.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I'm like, what?
But he was someone that he was.
I want to find a manga where we have a main character just instantly dead.
Oh, dude, go watch. I'm not even gonna spoil it. Never mind. All right, so there's two that we'll talk about right now that you two have not read, so I'll just get into these a little bit. Another one outside of my wheelhouse. This is actually the last weekly ongoing one I had to read. So everything else that's weekly, I am caught up, I believe. So anything else is a monthly title or a weekly title that I had to go back and finish because it ended while I was doing this. So this one is kind of in the same vein as like Blue Box, Komi Can't Communicate.
Blue Box, what I thought it would be like.
Very similar to Komi Can't Communicate. I'll put it more like that because I've seen the show, but I have not read that manga. Kubo Won't Let Me Be Invisible. The kid's really shy. The girl is just being really nice. And they're short, like little 15-page or less chapters every time. I read this in a day, less than a day, a couple hours. The chapters are so short and sweet that I like really needed to get to the next page because I was like, all right, well, what? That was too short. I need more. Like, I literally felt like I finished them in too fast, so I would like go back and I'm like, no, I didn't miss anything. So it felt like almost like a chapter, even though the adventure was over and everything was resolved just fine, usually, except for the multi-part ones. It felt like I still wasn't like I needed to get to the next part. Or like a chapter was cut in half or something, even though the resolution was found for whatever they were doing. I think I just feel it in the length because before I knew it, I was like, okay, next chapter. In that sense, it's great. It's a fun little story. If you like Komi Can't Communicate, I don't see anyone not liking this.
I'm excited for the anime that's coming out.
Got an anime coming out January, right?
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah.
I can double check, but.
So I don't know if the author has written anything else of noteworthy fame. Nope. But pretty awesome that he went 2 rounds. It's got a 4.5. He went basically one manga to another, and it's been going on since before the pandemic, 2019.
Yeah, like right before the pandemic started. Huh.
So I recommend it. I definitely think at least you, Bowler, would like it, and Marnie, I don't know if you like Komi Can't Communicate, so
I probably would.
That one's on Netflix, so he hasn't watched it yet.
Oh, okay.
This I have not seen anything about.
Okay, so this is illustrated by the same person as Death Note? Yes.
Oh, okay.
The author, I believe, is
someone
not as experienced.
Yeah, it doesn't look like they have much, but okay.
I like this font on this one, or whatever that like title logo is.
I do like that, yeah.
So this one kind of gave me an idea for like my own manga.
Oh, okay.
This one surprised me because it's about comedy, but it's not necessarily a comedy.
Oh, so kind of okay. So it's about you could kind of say like a Kane Banashi a little bit.
Yep, exactly that. And this was the one that I was telling you guys that it's kind of similar, and that this is what helped me kind of understand
it's about exploring
that one
the
more.
idea.
So these two are a comedic duo. One of them used to be a child TV star, and the other one is like an internet sensation that does like jokes on over the internet show, but it's just his voice. No one knows who he is. So the other guy finds him and finds out who he is, and they decide to enter a comedy competition together. So it's like a duo's comedic routine. So one is more out. The kid that is the kid in the glasses is the one that is the internet sensation. and then the more handsome looking dude is the TV star.
Okay.
So he's more outgoing. He's more outgoing, more social, no stage fright, nothing. He is a shut-in. So he's not trying to do too much. So they enter this competition and they basically bounce off of each other. He's kind of like the brains between it. He's the stage presence on stage. So he comes up with the different routines and he helps execute them.
Okay.
Does it do like the talent versus effort kind of thing?
Yes. So they get into like how different types of acts will do in different types of in front of different types of crowds. So they have to learn to read the room and have multiple routines ready to go and have them all memorized before showtime to get the best reaction they possibly can for competitions.
Oh, okay.
So there are competitions for this. So there is in order for them to be successful, they have to win more of these things. They have to get their names out there. So I won't spoil anything because I do recommend it, and I do think you guys should read it at some point, maybe in a couple months or so. Don't put it on your priority list, but it is definitely one that I feel like is going to stand the test of time with its with its content. So
I need more of those.
Yeah.
What this inspired me for though was I really like wrestling. So I grew up watching wrestling, professional wrestling, WWE stuff, not real Olympic wrestling. Just the story arcs and stuff. But then as I got older, I started learning more about like the background and the business aspect and how things are done to make the night go smoothly.
Mm-hmm.
And I've also seen movies like The Wrestler with Mickey Rourke, showing like what these guys actually do behind the scenes with their bodies and what's going on. So I thought it'd be a really cool concept to not necessarily focus on the professional wrestling itself. Like, yeah, you'll get to that. But I think it would be cool to show the ins and outs of the wrestling business, all the way from practicing in your own little ring in someone's garage to going to a bunch of indie shows to make $10 for a 5-hour night. Like, it's not a very forgiving sport. All the injuries, all the stuff you got to do to get your name out there, the different types of issues you come across with other wrestlers behind the scenes versus in the ring. Because there's wrestlers that have done storylines where they have literally made it like the most personal thing ever, but they're best friends behind the scenes. And then there's people that have looked like they've gotten along on screen their entire careers together, and they hate each other in the back. Those dynamics and different disagreements about wrestling archetypes and stuff would be like the premise.
You'd probably have to shift everything a little away from reality just because it's copyright.
But when you go to the moves, and you'd have. I wouldn't.
It'd be cool.
It would be based on a fake.
It
would be starting in a fake Japan. Then you would get global, kind of like the Hajime no Ippo.
Yeah.
You would start in Japan, and then you'd expand out to the different types of wrestling platforms that there are. Because there's a lot of different styles out there. Japan has their own. Mexico and the Latin Americas has their own. America has several different types. The UK has their own brand of wrestling. And then mixing it all together, and a lot of these indie stars that start out before they go to WWE is they'll make their way around the world and wrestle against people that they can get, whoever they can get their hands on, even if they lose, just to show what they can do in the ring and make a name for themselves. So that eventually they make it to the big leagues, and then the final arc would be like learning how to perform differently from the indies to like the actual television program that would be similar to WWE.
I like the idea.
It's not bad.
I just wish I could draw or I could write. I have the ideas and I have a lot of the information I know, and I know where to find like the little gaps of research that I would need. There's tons of documentaries that you can learn from to find out like how they're cutting their foreheads so they get busted open.
I could do the writing part.
So it's just a kind of just a loose concept that I like literally thought of because some dude on TikTok was like, "Why isn't there an anime about wrestling?" Like,
I remember that you asked me about that because it was like, "Oh, there's Kid Muscle."
Yeah, the video actually came way after our conversation about that, but like this manga right here gave me that idea, and then you think about that, like this just randomly gave me some inspiration for some other thing that I like.
Yeah.
Like, and that's how a lot of these
beauty of art.
That's how a lot of these artists and
art
the
inspires
authors
other art.
just inspired everybody. And like you saw it go with Dragon Ball to the big three, and now all these newbie shonens and all that. It's just we're getting to experience all that.
Sailor Moon made an entire genre.
Yeah.
Yeah, but to digress back to the content itself, this is it's going to be a really good manga in a couple of chapters, and hopefully it stays that way.
I'm definitely looking forward to checking it out.
The one that we did not talk about, which I guess could have been in the hiatus talk a couple weeks ago, is
the light novel.
One of the goats.
I was wondering when you were going to click on that.
Yeah, go ahead.
I forgot because it hasn't been in my weekly rotation for too long.
Yeah, me neither. I always read the last two because it's just how much reading you have to do. But
is it on hiatus right now, or is it off hiatus right now?
It's off. It's airing weekly.
I genuinely wasn't sure.
For how long it'll continue or stay like airing, we don't 100% know, but it seems like the author's got staff now. He's got his group.
Yeah, didn't he get like an assistant to help?
He's got a couple, yeah. I believe he's got a couple, and one of his assistants all the shonen authors actually do like little comments every week. I don't know if you knew that, Marty. I'm sure Fabian does. So one of his assistants is actually doing his comments for him, which I thought was cool. But yeah, I mean, obviously, Hunter x Hunter is such a popular manga. If you're watching, you at least know about it. It's an incredible manga, incredible story. It's unfortunate, at least for me. I'm sure it's unfortunate for a lot of people, but the fact that it got such a long hiatus and multiple hiatuses due to the author's health.
This is a 1 out of 10 on all places for this review you have up.
1 out of 10.
This first sentence gets me. Hunter x Hunter is an anime about fights, but 90% are made of dialogues like a talk show or a soap opera.
What? That's
I don't see. This is where I think the hate. This is where I feel like most of the hate for this thing comes from, is that it gets highly recommended, and people think that when they're recommending it, that it's going to be like the next Dragon Ball, the next Naruto, the next, remember the big
fight after fight after fight.
That's not how this is.
The thing is, though, like when you put Dragon Ball under a microscope, it doesn't end up looking all that good.
Well, yeah.
Like, how long was the Frieza fight? How many actual episodes?
Oh, if you're talking about the anime, yeah, it's not.
Yeah, I'm referring to the anime.
If you're talking about the Kai version that actually emulates the manga, then
the Kai is better.
A whole different. It's actually a better story because dialogue is more mature and actually.
I didn't know the dialogue was more mature. That's good. I've seen some of it though.
Oh, it is so different, man. In the original Dragon Ball that we grew up with, they basically really ripped out his dialogue and tried to make him sound like Superman. They try to keep it as close.
The original Dragon Ball had a ton of different dubs too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it had a few. But yeah, going back to Hunter x Hunter, it's like I'm personally ecstatic that it's back, and I'm not. I mean, from where they're at in the
you
manga
think we're
right
gonna
now,
get a third anime for it instead of them just picking up where they left off?
I think they'll pick up where they left off, but I don't know if
that's what everyone thought the first time. I think
maybe, I don't know, but I think they'll pick up where they
because the other one was good enough.
Yeah, the 2011 series was fantastic, but I'm just happy the manga's back. It's what everyone wants. Like, I think the amount of like reactions it gets, like just how much people hype and recommend it, speaks for itself. Like, it's like, I don't know. How do you feel about it, Fabian?
I hold this in a very high regard. This is one of my favorite animes, mangas of all time. The manga is a very long read. That 396 feels more like 1,000 when you're reading this.
Yeah, there's a lot of
dialogue. Whereas if you're watching it, the dialogue goes by faster. But as far as the narrative based storytelling being an issue for people, it just boggles my mind.
I don't see how anyone has an issue with it.
It's like playing mind games with chess. Like there's enough fighting in it. Like the stuff that does happen is still cool. It really boils down and subverts your expectations of the shonen genre.
Agreed.
Marty, that's why it's his number one. Do you guys have number one animes?
Me?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Have you guys ever just decided like which one was number one for you?
For anime?
Yeah.
I don't know. That's something for
I've thought about it before.
It really just boils down to like what's your favorite.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just have a ton of favorites, so
I have a lot that I like, but
so yeah. I think that's it for all the ones that I am currently reading that's on here.
One that's a full-on anime, maybe original Neon Genesis.
Yeah.
Okay.
I really like original Neon Genesis.
So these are the last ones. We'll just talk about their animes. And
hey, look, it's the one I read.
So Marty actually reads this one. Are you caught up?
No, I've been letting it build up because I wanted to binge because I kept on getting depressed after the current chapters. Because we were in a very sad dark arc.
I still need to watch the anime. It looks very cool. I mean, you look at this cover photo. Like, how does that?
The anime is funny because you haven't seen it. Matt's seen it all, and I saw half because I found out the second half didn't follow manga, and I felt like I didn't want to watch it. I'd rather read it.
Yeah, and that's fair. And I just quickly, having watched the anime, I watched it ongoing, and I loved it. I personally loved it. I didn't know at the time that it wasn't canon material that was being focused towards the end.
It didn't add material until the second half.
Yeah, but I think the anime is still worth the watch. It's got some freaking amazing opening and ending songs too. And
speak about it semi-briefly. It's a really good read. Each chapter is pretty meaty. It's a monthly release, so you're getting one a month. And, the story is I thought we were in Endgame a while ago, but I was just wrong. So I don't know. It's been a long final arc.
Yeah, I mean that's a good thing though. The longer the better for me.
And if you remember, I really like manga that subvert your expectations. I said I really like this manga, so you can guess what might happen.
I can't wait.
Yeah,
and unfortunately, these four are gonna have to wait until after I'm done with the Ultimate Marvel Universe.
Is any one of us reading Sarah?
No, but I watched the anime.
Yeah, I saw the first season.
I watched the first season, and then the second one I watched ongoing.
I didn't watch the second one.
I really enjoyed the anime. I'm
surprised it doesn't have a second season.
It does have a second season. Or a second core.
I still consider that whole show just one season.
That's fair. It might just be two cores, one season, but it was really well done. I compare it in a way, not compare it like as it's exactly like that, but it's similar to like Tokyo Ghoul or like
it got compared to
Attack on Titan.
It fits with that era, like for real.
Yeah.
Like when those shows first came out.
Yeah, this one, the action was on point for the anime. The music, and the animation, it really made me like it. Because if I'm not wrong, the person that does the music did the music for Demon Slayer as well, or it was Attack on Titan. I forget which, but the anime is hype. So I'm really looking forward to reading the manga when I get around to it because I want to know what happens after season 2.
I'm surprised that this is still ongoing, to be honest with you.
It's been there for a while.
It's been a pretty faithful monthly release.
I mean, it's a monthly release.
There hasn't been. No, it's just like some of them take breaks or like, skip a couple months. But I've never seen this one take a break. All the time that I've been using this app.
Yeah, I can't say that I saw. Like it just feels like it's usually on break because of the release schedule. I would say.
I've seen Twin Exorcist take a break.
Okay.
Blue Exorcist definitely did.
Yeah, Blue Exorcist did.
And then the other one was World Trigger, and that one definitely had a hiatus. So this is the only one that I
no, it wasn't World Triggers. I was thinking of the Log Horizon author for a second, and I was like, was that World Triggers? No.
Yeah.
So this one I only watched recently.
Yeah.
And before I forget,
phenomenal show.
You guys need to watch the movie.
Yeah,
movie.
Is it legally watchable?
I don't. Not that I know of anywhere.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, why haven't I watched the movie yet? But that might be why.
I don't even think it's available to purchase anywhere. I mean, if you could find it to buy it, I'd be down to watch it with you. But the movie is insane. Like it's insanely beautiful. Great story too.
Yeah, the studio that did this one, I think, did My Hero, or they're doing My Hero Studio Bones, right? I forget, but yeah, the anime was hype, and I remember when season 2 came out, everyone was happy, myself included, because it went back to following the manga. So that was a big
you're
deal.
Talking about yeah. The they even named it after the arc, didn't they?
Yeah,
Kyoto
arc. But yeah. I haven't read the manga yet myself. I want to, but I just haven't gotten around to it. But I mean, if a lot of people, this was really popular. Like, it came out in 2009, or no, that's the manga. The anime though came out pretty like before anime was really mainstream. So, but because it wasn't that mainstream, like it was still talked about. What I mean is the Blue Exorcist, even though anime itself wasn't like as mainstream as it is now, I saw so many people talking about Blue Exorcist online or even at school.
It was popular.
It was just really popular, and for good reason. It's a really enjoyable show, really good characters. I look forward to the manga. I don't know about you guys, but
this one's probably up out of those 4 that I have left of the ongoing monthly titles. This one is probably my most anticipated.
Yeah,
makes sense.
For good reason. Yeah, this one has a weird release schedule too, though, right? It's monthly.
It's monthly. It's just he had a real long hiatus.
Right. He did have like a few months.
He had an issue or something.
Yeah. This is somewhat obvious, but for some reason, I'm just coming to the realization of the reason why we don't really have much bad things to say about most of it is just because Jump is so selective with what they keep. They will just axe you if you are not getting the numbers you're supposed to get.
Right. I mean, we could go back to it right now. Like, when you look at all of this.
Yeah, they'll even axe the good ones.
That's really what we're getting at here is you look at how many of these have been successful.
Yeah.
And have been around for so long in these high chapter counts. And there's only 3 left here. That said,
the manga and anime industry really have to start treating their content creators better.
I agree. They give us so much that that's why we feel bad only getting charged $2 a month.
Yeah, because there's so much to read, so much content.
We do.
Yeah,
it's all really, and they do such a great job. Like, it's all quality for the most part. Like,
I don't know who they're scared of offending.
It goes back to the cutting the fat. Like, if you went to Netflix and they had ongoing shows on there all the time, and they only gave you a certain amount of show, like this is all you get. Like, if I clicked on these and they were a show, that's all you get. And if there's a new one, we're gonna cancel if we think it's wasting your time.
Which Netflix does, apparently.
But they still keep it there, or
No, I know what you're saying. Yeah, I completely agree. It's one of the things to love about Shonen Jump. They just, even though they do axe a lot of their series, they the ones they keep for a good reason. It's selling, or it's providing numbers because it's quality. It's good, and that's that's the positive, but the kind of the negative thing, I guess, about Shonen Jump. And I don't know who decides when to act something or not.
I don't know, but I want to have a conversation with them.
Yeah, we're on World Trigger next.
Yeah, which really is only my bag.
Yeah,
and I actually started this a while back, but then I got intimidated by how many chapters were out. So I was like, you know what? This literally was the reason that I went.
Yeah, I thought you started reading it.
Yeah, I mean the anime, from what I heard, is pretty close to this chapter count.
That's close.
So probably won't get another season for quite some time then.
Yeah, the anime is really well animated, and I like the premise of the story. The problem is that I don't know where this is going. Like they just keep training.
Didn't the author get some kind of boo-boo or something?
It's supposed to go somewhere, but it just hasn't been there yet. We're just kind of still training, and it's really cool training. I'd say it's even better. These arcs that they do in here, you know, like My Hero has those parts where they have to be students.
Yeah.
This does a way better job of that.
Oh, okay.
So if you wanted something more centered around that type, that's essentially what this is.
I actually almost picked up the Blu-ray. It was on sale on Sentai Filmworks. They had like a big Black Friday sale.
That's one of the ones I looked at.
Yeah, those I almost added it, but I didn't end up doing it because I figured it would be on sale.
Sentai sales were weak this year, though.
Yeah, but continue. I just wanted to throw that out. I'm definitely planning on watching and reading this one eventually.
Yeah, it's something I really want to knock out of the backlog, honestly, just because of its chapter count. And I watched the anime so long ago. I said I was going to read it right there and then because it was so long, and then I ended up reading. It's literally like my white whale now. Like I have to read I keep avoiding it too. It's like I'll keep reading all this other stuff to get to it.
Yeah, but I remember you liking the anime, so. And since you've read or watched the anime, you'll be able to breeze through most of the manga just because you know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can skim it.
Repetition is a good thing, though.
Yeah, definitely.
Cement the story. That's a lot of the reason that I like doing anime and manga.
Same. That's one of the things I love as well.
All right. So that does it with all these.
The state of Shonen Jump.
I think we're in a good place. I think just by the sheer fact that they're already preparing 6 new series to help potentially get the next big thing out there. They're trimming a lot of the fat. Not a lot of stuff gets by. Like these are the 2 biggest outcasts in a lot of the newest
Akane doing as well
that we have.
Surprising.
Which one?
Akane Banashi.
Oh yeah, and you look at what they are; they're both about art.
Yeah.
So there's an interest in that.
I don't know about P6 or PPPP, but Akane is about the breakdown of the art too, though.
Yeah, so this does that to some extent, not too detailed, but it does have that.
You lose a lot with it being about music, so that's rough.
Yeah.
Yeah, and right.
It's just surprising that it's gotten this far. Is all I'm getting at. Because you don't let series get this far.
I did not see it going that far.
I thought it'd be dead by now.
Same. The only one that's been longer that ended on its own naturally, that was a shorter one, was Magu-chan.
Oh yeah, the little alien looking thing. There it is.
Magu-chan got it.
I love
great comedy series. And in this manga, they actually have a chapter where they reference this manga.
Oh, okay.
So, a pretty cool little thing. Just looking back at some of these ones that have gotten canceled, like this one, you could see it coming.
Oh, I remember.
Earthchild had a good concept at first, but it kind of just
Earthchild died before I even had a chance to read it.
I checked out the first chapter, but it didn't pull me in right away, unfortunately.
It was neat for what it was, and I'll say this: I'll be very interested to see if that author gets any other project on here or whatever else they do in the future, because I think they definitely are talented.
Yeah, I'm hopefully they do get some more. Briefly, the Ayakashi Triangle. Yeah, that's getting an anime in January. I'm excited.
Oh wow, that's cool.
Yeah, I didn't pick this one up personally. It was one of the few that I did not. One is just for me, like some things that have the etchiness in it. If it's pretty much only about the etchy, and it's not a parody, then I'm not. It's just too distracting for me. Like it's just not in my wheelhouse. But they also had some censorship issues bringing this over to the United States, so a couple chapters were missing on the website anyways. Right. And then on top of that, they moved it out of this Viz Media website completely.
Yeah, it's on a different app now.
And it's on a different app now, so you can't even finish it on here. So I just saved myself the time. It's too much of a hassle, and I just want to pick out what I enjoy. Maybe someday, like when I'm just bored and have nothing else in the backlog, I'll come back and
read. Fair. But yeah, I would say overall, Shonen Jump is in a good place, and I'm looking forward to the new stuff they're dropping. And of course, I'm looking forward to, or just enjoying what's out now, and I look forward to every week reading. It's the highlight of my Sunday, honestly.
I hope they catch up JoJo's in time for us to read the next part.
Along with the
ongoing.
Anime. Well, right, like I said, so that I clicked on the latest chapter, and they are covering the stuff that happens in episode 13 of the anime, and there's 38 episodes total. So that's probably going to be a good chunk of manga. I don't know. I know it's already all been out, so I don't know how many chapters there are total. But
what I mean is because there's going to be, according to the author himself, one more series, one more part to JoJo.
Oh, and then it'll be over?
Yeah. So whenever that is finally ongoing, I would like it to be on.
Oh, to be on here ongoing. I see what you're saying. My bad. Okay. Yeah.
The other stuff, sure. Great. I'd love to get the other parts on here, even if they are ongoing. I would read along.
No, yeah, definitely. I'm actually, that's something I've recently decided I'm gonna binge those as well. I'm gonna focus on some of the other ones that have been on the backlog longer, but once those are done, I'm gonna read all the JoJo parts.
Reading the manga, I did it. I was reading.
I might finally do my Twin Star catch up.
Yeah, that's.
I've been on that build for a few months.
Reading JoJo in manga form is great, but the anime did it justice. So yeah, the only question I have for you guys is, how did you guys end up reading manga? Like, did the manga come first for you guys, or did the anime?
Anime first for me.
For what?
Like just in general, like getting into it.
Oh, anime, definitely. And it's my story is the same as probably most people are my age. Cartoon Network, Toonami. It introduced me to cartoons, Dragon Ball, Sailor Moon, Yu Yu Hakusho, Gundam, all those shows. And at the time, like you, I didn't know they were just considered anime. I just really liked the cartoons. And the reason I got into manga though is my old best friend Michael. He got the Dragon Ball mangas for his birthday, or for Christmas, something like that. And we read them together, and because we watched Dragon Ball Z and Dragon Ball, because back then Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z were actually, I don't know if they were airing ongoing together, but they were both on Toonami. You got to watch them both like in different time slots. So I really love Dragon Ball, and I fell in love with the fact that that I could read it as well. I didn't exactly know what I was reading at the time, but that's basically how I got introduced to anime and manga, like back to back. But I didn't really get into manga until like middle school, high school, like when I had access to like a computer and stuff.
For me, it started at Family Video.
Family Video?
Because my parents were pretty restrictive of what I watched as a kid, and
I remember
free
that.
kids movies there, and
Yeah.
so like they had like Sailor Moon movies and like Pokemon, and I didn't know this was anime yet. How could I? As a child, no one knew what anime was. And then the drug that is Yu-Gi-Oh would be the next step, and that's what got me into manga, the first volume. Which, if you've read the first volume of Yu-Gi-Oh, Jesus Christ,
I actually own it. It's
it is a different experience than the Yu-Gi-Oh card game.
Yeah,
hey, it's a really good manga.
I've heard nothing but good things, but I haven't read it.
Yeah, you pretty much know the
so
story.
many people die.
Yeah, and there's so many.
Yeah, there's different stuff, but I'm for the rest of it, it's pretty much.
It's similar to the anime.
Yeah, it goes back to the card game, but not in that first volume.
It's just when you read it, it's like the idea is being taken a little bit more seriously. Like you can't. Now you can still read it with Joey's accent, but like I feel like he wouldn't actually sound like that.
Oh, I will always read it as Joey's accent.
I don't know. The way they talked in that dub is obviously
there's a lot.
etched.
The Pharaoh just wanted blood.
Yeah.
He didn't care about manga, the game was an excuse to just get blood.
Yeah. In the manga, he's more ruthless. So, and it's just that type of tone and line delivery. Even
he was manga, not a good guy.
You could tell that this was not meant to be as like childish as they made it in the anime, or at least for us. On
that again, 4Kids took away their guns.
Yeah. Right, but like if you really think about it, like his grandpa still loses his soul in episode 2, so it's like it. But when we're kids,
but in the manga, we get to see them rip out Pegasus's eye.
Yeah, so like, but what I'm getting is like that. Even though we were just kids, so like, even though, like, it's darker in the manga, it was still kind of like there were some dark elements to it. But because we were just kids, we didn't like think of it in that kind of way, you know. Like,
the manga still stayed dark though, even though when it got into the card game stuff.
Oh, I mean, we could always do a Yu-Gi-Oh episode 2 down the line, talk about it more, but. Because we all love Yu-Gi-Oh, we all have a huge.
But that's what got me into manga was the Yu-Gi-Oh manga, and then Shaman King happened.
Oh yeah, Shaman. We still gotta watch the anime.
I gotta read it and watch the new.
And read it, yeah.
I gotta watch the new show, yeah.
Yeah.
I have worries, but I'm hoping.
That manga is on Comixology for the Comixology Unlimited.
Oh, okay.
At least it was last time I had it. I'm not.
I have to pick up the new omnibuses. I don't think I have any yet, but I gotta get them.
A few are out now.
Yeah, they should all be out, I think.
No, for me, I don't. Oh, go ahead.
No, for me, manga came as like a natural, like next step of evolution to
after anime,
liking anime, and it's that feeling when you finish a season and the next season is now.
And you want more.
Know what happens.
Yep.
So what did that in for me? And I don't think I was ever. I think it was the first manga that I ever like jumped over to see what happened ahead of time.
Attack on Titan.
But I still kept my habit up just from day one, so everyone knows. Even if I've seen the anime, I still have to read the stuff that happened in the anime when I start a series.
Right.
Yeah. I personally cannot. Aside from One Piece, is the one time I broke this rule. I can't just pick up from where I left off.
Where the anime leaves off.
I feel
that makes sense. Because things are different sometimes.
Yeah.
No, they skip stuff gets skipped and different
experience.
Yeah, definitely.
And I always felt that even when I wasn't that like into manga at all. So when I had enough. Like the wait was too long. It's been like 3 years and no such word about Attack on Titan season 2.
Yeah.
And those 26 episodes, I watched them a couple times. And I really liked it. And I think you and me, or I think you were talking about the manga at some point. Because I think you had read it already.
Me?
Bowler, yeah.
Yeah, because I also couldn't wait. I'm like, okay, I need to know what happens. So I
waited.
I ended up finding it online and I read it.
So I ended up reading, catching up to the manga for Attack on Titan, and that was the first time I ever had that. But then coincidentally, we were hanging out, and we didn't know what we wanted to do, and I hadn't told you yet that I read the manga. So I was like, you know what, I'm gonna mess with him.
Oh,
and I was
yeah,
like, let's watch
that.
Attack on Titan. So then we were watching, and I was like, man, they're never gonna come out with season 2. I don't know what Madhouse is waiting for. You know, the typical nonsense that we would talk, waiting for stuff to happen with these shows. And then we get to like a scene where like Bertold and Reiner are like just talking, and at that point they're kind of like side characters. And I was just like, oh, why are they spending time with these guys? They don't do anything. They're just side characters. What, like, this is ridiculous.
Oh yeah. And I remember in my head. I think I remember in my head. I was just like,
what a horrible take.
But that's one of the reasons why Attack on Titan is so freaking good. Is they were literally just side characters, random Joe Schmoes, and they had such a bigger deal to them. So,
a real big deal. But yeah, that was my. It started out with manga for me with just wanting to know what happens next, which is what an anime really is supposed to do.
It is.
I actually wonder how many people started reading manga because of specifically Attack on Titan.
Probably a lot. Honestly, Attack on Titan really made a big impact on the anime, I would say. Like,
yeah, and then everyone wanted to know what happened, but they didn't. They couldn't.
Right.
Without going to the manga.
They put it on Netflix.
Yeah, it was on Netflix.
Back then, putting like a lot of anime on Netflix was not a trend. It was not a thing.
The catalog on Netflix for anime was very limited, so that was a big deal.
So yeah, that's mostly where it started for me, and then from there, just was the next one that I needed to know. And I started collecting a little bit, and then I ended up that app came out, and that's where it all went downhill.
No,
what manga collections do you guys actually completely own right now?
Completely own?
If it's ongoing, obviously you don't have to count.
I only have Dragon Ball Z and Berserk that are ongoing or complete.
I thought you did Man Wonderland.
No, I sold most of my manga when we moved, so because I didn't want more stuff to bring over here.
Gotcha.
Oh, okay.
And plus the kids were like tearing into everything, so like a lot of the stuff that I had that was like comics and whatnot.
Yeah.
I only saved the bare bone stuff, and then like kept enough to keep it on a shelf or in the closet.
So I actually only own one whole manga. It's called Masamune Kun's Revenge.
Oh, I remember that one.
I thought you had the quintuplets one.
Oh, I got that too. Well, I was going to get to that. I own those two, and then I own
Fully Cooley, I guess.
Well, it's just the omnibus, but yeah. I own it's a light novel series actually, but it's called My Teen Romantic Comedy.
Oh, Snafu.
Yeah, My Teen Romantic Comedy Snafu
I've heard good things.
Oh, really enjoyable. But yeah, that's. But then I have a ton of manga volumes. But yeah.
Yeah, that's why I wanted to say
I'm more
series, because if we go volumes, we'll be here all day.
I stopped collecting stuff for obvious reasons. We won't get into that.
It's like the only complete series I think I personally own right now are Shaman King's original, and I have to say it that way.
Yeah.
Claymore. I swear I have a third one I'm not thinking of. I can't think of it, so I can't say it.
Oh, I hope Burn the Witch.
It's only 3, but they're like omnibuses. So
I hope we see like season 2, whatever they're calling it, soon for Burn the Witch. I'm hoping because Bleach is blown up again, he'll.
Oh, Burn the Witch.
Yeah, I want more from that. I really enjoy those.
That'd be pretty cool. They hit us with a pretty sick reveal at the end of that.
But yeah, I think we're good to wrap up the episode, huh?
Yeah.
Or is there any more?
I think we pretty much got all the manga all covered. I did want to show you guys the work in progress that my wife has been working on for me.
Oh yeah, the shirt. Look at that. That's nice.
Every almost every show. I'm trying to get it all in there. Wrong way.
Here, remove your.
Oh yeah, this makes more sense.
That way you can see it better.
Here, make me the big one.
I don't remember how. It only lets me be the big one. I don't know how to make you the big one.
Oh.
But freaking awesome! Oh, you even got Golden Boy on there. Such a fun,
Dude,
ridiculous.
Look on the other side.
The
exact opposite side.
Yeah.
We're next to Full Metal Alchemist.
Oh, Keijo? Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that you got the Fire Force.
Yeah, Fire Force 8.
Oh, nice.
Doro. And then the front.
Oh,
had to
you
go
got
to the
more
front
on
side.
Oh, that was the back side? Okay. Oh, okay, Samurai.
So that there's room to add more.
If you wear that in public, you're gonna get like people second looking and be like, "Wait a minute," because they're just gonna recognize one and be like, "Hold on."
That's awesome. Really
so
unique
cool.
idea. Really nice shirt. Good color choice too.
I mean, It is because black shows very well in red.
Yeah.
No, yeah.
I specifically wanted them that way, and I wanted it to be the show titles.
Yeah.
So I think there's like 15 more shows that she has to add on.
I get reincarnated slime on there somehow.
It is. It's on here. I'll tell you which ones are missing. And they're kind of big, so.
Is it wrong to try and pick up girls in a dungeon?
That's on here.
Oh, she put the whole thing. You didn't just put.
She put the whole thing.
Oh,
that's awesome.
You should have put Don Machi probably just to save room, but
so
respect.
I looked up and to my left. I don't think you've seen it though, but Tanaka-kan is always listless.
Golden Kamui.
You got me that show.
Welcome to Demon School, Rumakun.
Oh, amazing.
86.
Oh,
Cyberpunk.
86, great.
Edge Runners, Jujutsu Kaisen, Kill la Kill, Komi Can't Communicate, Long Horizon, Magi the Labyrinth of Magic, Jobless Reincarnation, Ranking of Kings, Symphogear, Kenichi, Overly Cautious Hero. We were having trouble getting a hold of that logo. In like a vinyl printable version. Yeah. So that one might not be able to make it.
I mean, it's not like it's a must anyway, but I know you want everything on there.
I like that show, so that's
no, I know, I enjoyed it too. Very much.
I put it up there with those isekais. I feel like it's a really good isekai. And then the last one is Record of Ragnarok. There are some that I cut, like I watched like Chaos Dragon or Battle Girls.
Right, yeah.
Battle Girls Time Paradox, or just stuff that I didn't like entirely care that much about or not even remember that well.
Right, yeah. Makes sense.
So, but yeah, that is pretty much everything we were going to talk about tonight. A calm, cool 3 hours and 22 minutes.
Wow.
Nice and quick.
I did not expect that.
Shout out to Avatar 2. We just shot the whole thing. It only took us one night, James Cameron. Only one night to make a 3 hour and 22 minute movie. Bet.
Oh man, that's good.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I had a blast. It was really fun talking about all the titles on Shonen Jump that are currently, ongoing. I mean,
we can make an episode in the future for the dead shows.
We will.
Oh, yeah. I have to read a lot.
Dead manga.
I think it would be fun to read their synopsis and just react to them.
Definitely.
Because we don't know what most of them are about. And then you could probably tell us, like, hey, it's not worth your time or it's worth your time.
That's true.
For sure.
Yeah.
At least for a good amount of them. There's some, though, I'm still very beat up about.
Yeah, but that'll be it for us.
Thanks for tuning in, guys. Don't forget to like, subscribe, give us a comment. Let us know what your favorite current Shonen Jump titles are.
Or just your favorite manga.
Yeah. We always need more recommendations to add to the backlog.
If you upload it enough, we'll just read it. I don't care.
Someday. We'll hit you with that someday.
Right into the backlog.
Right into the backlog it goes. All right.
All right.
Thanks again for watching. Signing off. Later.
Have a wonderful time.